favorites. We here for the latest. South side or the north side, not tuned to the greatest. Home team for the home teams. Both sides got our own rings. On the mound or the long ball, but we don't put the wrong strings. Yeah. It's that time of the year now. Wrigley or Ganty, so the whole league that we hear now. New show with a new mood. Discussions and interviews. Trade rumors that might be. This is Pinwheels and Knife. Yeah.
All right. We good on all the socials?
Yep.
Nope. Hold up.
One last scroll for rumors or news. No.
All right. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Well, what's going on, everybody? It is Thursday, December 8th, and you have found the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. I am your host, Matt Zawoski, a.k.a. Southside Zoe. And with me, as always, Mr. Aldo Soto.
What's up, guys? Cody Bellinger's a Cub. How about that?
I thought there would be a lot more, but it's not over yet. It's not over yet. And the good Reverend K. Fids.
I would like to officially name the newest strain of Chicago sativa the Bellinger strain, because I am super stoked that stoner's coming to the north side. Super stoked. And if you guys can make sure that he knows where the McDonald's and the nearest Taco Bell is, be greatly appreciated.
You got to do a lot of work before you get a strain named after you.
Oh.
And as always, NASCAR Mitch.
Patiently waiting for something to happen on the south side of town.
That seems to be the key phrase after Rick Hahn had a nice 3-day vacation in San Diego.
I know. Went down there for 3 days.
Hold it. Keep it in your pants, Mitch. We're still in the intro. We're still in the intro.
You gotta buy us dinner first, and then you can really force it in like Big Ben.
So obviously we are going to be talking about the MLB winter meetings. It wasn't as explosive, so to say, as we were expecting, but there was a lot went down. Definitely a lot went down, enough to easily fill the show. So the Cubs made some signings, the White Sox did not. Both teams are linked to some names still, so we'll get into all of that and a lot more. So let's tap this keg. As always, this show is brought to you by Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com. Make sure you download the app, turn on push notifications so you'll be the first to know when the White Sox sign some dude from a Mexican farm league team and tell us he's going to be the next Mike Trout. And also Uncle Bud's on 9700 South Cicero. Taco Tuesdays are fully rolling. They got the kitchen up and rolling. The Bud burgers are fantastic. Make sure you go check them out. 9700 South Cicero, Uncle Bud's.
Cody Bellinger loves some Bud.
Cody Bellinger should, if Cody Bellinger signed with the White Sox, he probably would have been a spokesperson for the Uncle Bud's. Can't have a Cubs player be the spokesman for a Southside bar. It just won't work out. But it's all right, Cody. Mr. Prime opportunity there, bud. But I guess let's start there. That's a pretty good place. So the winter meetings have now come and gone. As I mentioned, we can cover everything the White Sox did. Ready here, let's cover it. And that was the White Sox winter meetings. So the Cubs, on the other hand,
they picked up a pitcher in the Ruler 5 draft.
That's true.
He looks like Dylan Cease's little cousin, white boy.
You guys have to keep him on your roster the entire year.
Yep.
He is yours.
But I guess he has some history with Ethan Katz. As good friend of the show, Jordan Lazowski said, for the believers of the Ethan Katz lab, this is your new pet. This is your guy. This is going to be the one that that you got to root for there. But the Cubs were busy during the winter meetings. First and foremost, in every tweet from every baseball beat writer, when they list the teams that are in on a player, the Cubs were always listed as one of those teams. Just put it that way. They were supposedly in on everybody. You even had Boris say that the Tom drum, right? Getting that right? The Tom drum was
Yep.
basically going. We've heard all these open wallets, the checkbook's there, everything's
Cubs
going.
Cubs were even linked to the three wise men dropping off presents at Baby Jesus' stable.
Yeah, I mean, basically, if they had a pulse and they played baseball and they're a free agent, they were linked to the Cubs in some shape or form.
This guy's dead.
But with all that being said, the ones that have put pen to paper, though, the Cubs did make two. I liked what the Cubs did. I will say that right out of the gate. I like what the Cubs did, and we'll start with Cody Bellinger. I expressed on this show a couple times that I thought Cody Bellinger would be a great corner outfielder for the White Sox. So I was a little disappointed to see him go to the Cubs, but I think the Cubs are getting themselves a pretty solid player and the former MVP. Although, what was the exact deal?
So I think it's 12 million guaranteed for 2023, and then there's an option for 24 with a $5 million opt out. So he's going to get $17 million.
Yeah, and I don't think that's a gross overpay. I mean, obviously he's coming off of, not a great season.
Oh no, he's been dog shit.
Yeah,
in a row.
He's been dog shit. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it's okay to say it. It's fine. Yeah.
He had a 165 batting average in 21. He had a 210 batting average in 22. Home run numbers are considerably down. He had 10 home runs in 21, 19 homers last year.
His strikeout numbers are kind of alarming too.
Yeah, but
And we can
Mitch,
trace
I'm
this
just
all
gonna
back.
give you a little hint.
Okay, I was gonna say we trace this all back to the time that I drafted him in our live Pinwheels and Ivy first, our inaugural Pinwheels and Ivy draft when I took him with my first pick overall. Ever since then, shit.
The Kevin Jinx. Huh?
But Mitch, what I was gonna say is we can't really talk shit about his strikeout numbers because we're gonna get to a guy later on that is probably gonna be on our team that.
That's fine. I mean, for a general manager that's doing something, then we can talk a little shit about his strikeout.
This is for Cody, by the way. Welcome. He's in the chat, by the way. I just want to tell you guys that.
One of the nice things, though, too, with Cody Bellinger, though, he is a pretty good defender. And he can also play first base for the Cubs, which is solid. He does have a Gold Glove under his belt that 2019 season where he won MVP. He was Gold Glove, Silver Slugger, All-Star, everything. But I think on a 1-year deal under 20 mil to, as we said on the last show, like prove to the MLB that, you still belong and you're still a higher tier and you should get that bigger paper. I mean, he's basically playing for his next contract. And I think the dimensions on the north side will favor to his swing. I mean, he just has to put bat to ball. But, yeah, so Cubs guys, I guess we'll just flip it to you right away. Where are you at with Cody Bellinger?
So 3 things. Number 1, obviously, it's the prove it deal. Betting on himself. I always love to see that. So some extra motivation there. Number 2, change of scenery, right? We always talk about with the guys who just sucked or whatever. Maybe,
I believe in that, I think, more than other people do, that the change of scenery is definitely a real thing.
A change of scenery, plus he's reunited with a couple coaches that used to be out in LA when he was still either in the minors or coming up with the Dodgers back in, what was his rookie year, 15, 16? I think it's 16.
16.
So there's that factor.
Was it 17?
17 is when he won the rookie year.
Yeah, he was 21.
Okay.
Yep.
So a couple coaches familiar with, what was working back then. Get eyes on him again. And then the third thing for me, which, yes, obviously he's been awful for the past, 2-3 seasons offensively. But the Cubs defense in center field in 2022, I think they were literally the worst defensive group in center field. Cody Bellinger, like you said, Gold Glove winner before. He's been a good defender. So that just even if he's just okay defensively for the Cubs is a hell of an improvement over the guys that they had. So you get some high floor there. Hopefully he's coming back from the shoulder injury stuff. There you go. As our guy Alex Healy in the comments pointing out the holiday connection. I think he also worked with Matt Carpenter.
Yep.
Last
Mhm.
offseason.
He
And
definitely
we
did.
saw what Matt Carpenter did, like absurd power numbers with the Yankees before he got hurt.
But here's the thing, although too, with what Healy's saying, he said he saw him hitting with Jackson Holiday, and he has a short toe tap now with the front leg. It's something little like that, like
It's,
one
yeah, it's
little
just like
adjustment.
anything. Yeah.
Because you know the goods are there, man. He won a fucking MVP. Like, it's not like he was just an all-star a couple of times. No, he won MVP. You know the goods are there. It's just something mechanically is slightly off. And it could be something like a short toe tap that fixes everything. It's
Like, that's
wild,
the-
but
And like even if he did, like I'm not expecting him to even get close to the 2019 numbers. Like that was an absurd season. I think his OPS
Right.
was above like 1,000, like more than 40 home runs. If he is with the Cubs, is back healthy from the shoulder, he hits 25 home runs. Hits, I don't even care what his average is. He starts taking some walks again. Wonderful. I'll
Right.
take that. I'll take that right now. Yeah, Gary, sign me up for a 25 home run season with Cody Bellinger and good defense in center.
now
At
one of the
theoretically
things
12 million too. At theoretically 12 million.
I don't know if you guys have seen
Right.
or read too much into this, but like I said, I wanted him on the White Sox, so I'm not like knocking Cody Bellinger at all. Because if the White Sox signed him, I would have been just as ecstatic. But some people link his free fall, if you will, statistically, to that's right about when the whole sign stealing thing started becoming public. And they started cracking down on that quite a bit. And it's led some people to believe that the 2019 season was a product of him benefiting from that. And once that faucet got turned off, he started, drying up a little bit. But
Which is
I
a
don't know.
strange accusation considering the vitriol that he threw out at people like Carlos Correa and how it was reported even possibly today that the Dodgers specifically weren't targeting Carlos Correa because of the cheating stuff.
Mhm.
It's a weird thing to think because it sounds like, maybe I don't know. It sounds like, it's hard to believe that someone's going to be that angry. It'd be like someone being mad at steroids and then shooting it up in their ass like 5 minutes later. Like Rafael Palmeiro did that. Never mind. He shook his finger. But I think that it has nothing to do with that. He has a shoulder issue. It's been his shoulder for a couple of years now that he hasn't been 100%. And look, and Aldo, you touched on it too. The new home, the versatility. We know what his floor is. We know what his ceiling can be. He's finally getting healthy. He's 27 freaking years old. He's not an old man by any means. He's younger than KB, for example. He's 27. He's going into a season now where the shift has been removed, but his biggest problem has been hitting the high fastball. So the toe tap seems to me like an adjustment to try and finally be able to recognize pitches that are elevated out of the hand and make that timing mechanism work for him. So, it's his high fastball issues that get him. You take away the shift, he no longer is seeing something different. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, you step foot in that box and you see two dudes on the right side of second base. It's weird. It's just weird. It's daring you to try and adjust your swing. That's one of the things that people don't talk about with the shift is it creates a mindset where you're like, if I just punch it this way, if I just punch it the other way, I got to hit. And then you pop it up because you're out front or you're pushing away or you're not getting that top hand over, etc. And with him, you take away that shift. Now it's going to be an entirely different, again, your line of sight when you're looking at when you're digging in the box and you're seeing the pitcher and you're looking at things out of the hand, less chaos behind it also can help with the focus. Now, the biggest thing for me that I see with him though too is that he is coming into Chicago. He's a winner. We know what he can do, but at the same time, he's a good clubhouse guy. He's going to fit in well. He's immediately a Cub fan favorite. Trust me, when he starts playing, I told you guys this in our chat. I've been watching, or at least known about him since he was in high school. Like he was part of that same 2013 high school club circuit. And this guy's legitimately a guy that can be good. And if he's finally healthy and he's just getting a fresh start and he re-clears that mechanism, I think that, 12 million plus that buyout, with a mutual option in year 2, which if he does well, they can extend him a little bit. I think this is a low risk move. I mean, people are pissed off. They're like, well, what about Hayward's contract? Well, you know what? This is as best you can do besides getting Hayward out there to actually play for himself. This is a solid guy with we know his floor and he has an excruciatingly high ceiling. when he starts producing. So I think I'm I've been in love with this mix, but I think the idea of, coming back to circle around, I think the idea that he was he was a product of the sign stealing is ludicrous to me.
Another thing with
I
his,
get it, but I also wouldn't rule it all completely out. I mean, it's not so hard out of the realm of believing of someone doing something and someone else getting caught and being like, oh yeah, fuck that guy. Look at what he's doing. I mean, the numbers line up. I'm not accusing him of anything. I'm just saying that it's an interesting theory.
Ever since COVID, by the way, it's ever since the COVID shutdown.
Well, I mean, it was the year before that. I mean, here's
the year before that. The year before that was he hit 305. The 2020 season, he hit 239, then 165, then 210.
Well, I mean, here's as a Cubs. If I was a Cubs fan, I mean, it's a supplemental move. I think it's fine, but I don't think it's anything like Cody Bellinger isn't anything that's going to move the needle. The last 3 years, he has failed to hit above 240, and he's failed to hit above 20 home runs, and he strikes out a lot. So there's not a whole lot he's doing well offensively. Now, here's where it is like you do get excited because he does have the potential there. Left-handed bats are always nice. He plays good defense, and he's clutch in the postseason. So if you're seriously contending, if you're serious about contending this year, that's a guy you want on your team in the postseason. His numbers don't jump off the page, but he always seems to show up in big moments. I mean, 2017 had a monster year. Even when he has bad years, if you look at some of his moments in the postseason, in 2020, he had a terrible year. He hit the tie-breaking home run in Game 7 of the NLCS that helped send him to the World Series. So he seems to show up clutch. So that is encouraging to see. But unless the Cubs get one of those big shortstops or make some other big moves, if that's like one of your only guys, it's kind of like he's only a good signing if you're adding a bunch of other pieces around him and you're not banking on Cody Bellinger to be the guy he was in 2017 when he was an MVP caliber player. Otherwise, it's kind of very move. But
you're
like,
big on that versatility.
Yeah. He's a good depth piece to have if you're taking a flyer on. And for what they paid him, it's not like they overpaid him. So, I mean, that's fine. But if I was a Cubs fan, and same with the White Sox, they were deciding, I'm not jumping out of my seat in excitement over Cody Bellinger. It's like, okay, that's solid. What else are you going to put around?
We got a trade.
What?
No.
No, neither of our teams.
No.
The Braves acquired right-handed pitcher Joe Jimenez from the Tigers in cash considerations for outfielder Justin Henry Malloy and left-handed pitcher Jake Higginbooth. That guy's okay. They couldn't fit his last name on one line, but
are these?
Not mad to see. I mean, Joe Jimenez wasn't anything crazy, but I feel like he's the guy that like always pitched against the White Sox.
He threw gas, but he was wild from what I was told. But Tim Anderson hit the walk-off off of him, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Higginbotham. That's a great name.
Yep.
Many Higginbothams have died to bring you this information.
Just two more things on Bellinger to wrap that up. Spot on, Mitch. Like obviously, he's just a guy right now. You can't count on him to provide you like above average offense after his last 2.5 years. But that's the thing. If he sucks, it's 1 year. Who cares? You're like, all right, we tried it. He's gone, and then they have Pete Armstrong ready next year. So cool. Yeah. Number two, if he does reach his potential again and has a great season, and obviously he's going to opt out if he does, he's going to be like, peace, see you later, guys. The Cubs can slap the qualifying offer on him. So there you go. Then he signs somewhere else. Cubs get a draft pick, some bonus money.
Yeah.
I think it's a low risk, high reward move. I think it's I feel like this is if you know the floor, I mean, I refuse. Maybe I'm just too much of an optimist here, but I doubt that his floor can get any lower than it was, especially this season. He was one of the greatest hitter in baseball.
Yeah.
His floor, I think he was still like near like a 2-WAR player.
Yeah. He's a 1.7 WAR as bad as he was. He was a 1.7 WAR player.
I think he's a good base runner too.
Line of protection though. He's going to have a lot less. Well, I mean, we'll see who they sign, but as of now, going to have a lot less line of protection.
Actually, 2021, he was worse. He was a -1 WAR. So he went from a 7.7 WAR to 2020. He was a 1.4 WAR to a -1 WAR in 2021, back up to a 1.7. So if you really look at the trend, he's trending back upward. So he should have a 7.7 WAR this year if you follow the pattern. See, I'm optimistic. Don't tell me I'm not.
There you go.
Shut up, Justin Roman.
You had anything else on Bellinger, Aldo?
No, I mean, again, yes, the numbers are the offense, it's not something you should be like, hey, we're getting the 2019 MVP again. No, you're not getting that. But good defense, good base runner, has some pop. Mitch said it.
Yep.
You always got to love a lefty bat.
And like I said, I mean, I'm not even gonna front, man. As a Sox fan, if the Sox would have signed him, I would have been happy with it. So I can't.
Same, but it was more because we were limited on our options and we knew they weren't going to be able to spend much. We're like, okay, this guy's cheap. That would fill a need that could have potential. For the Cubs, the checkbook's wide open. So that's why.
Supposedly.
Yeah. So that's why it would be as excited. I mean, and they might add a bunch around him. They had a Carlos Correa and Cody Senga. All of a sudden, okay.
Well, they did go out. Oh, go ahead, Fitz.
Oh, you go ahead. You go ahead. Okay.
I was going to say they did go out and make another signing, and I think this one's a little bit more significant, to be honest with you.
Yep.
They went out and get Jameson Taillon.
Taillon, right?
I got it. Tyon, just
Taillon.
and then on.
Taiwan?
Taiwan. Taiwan on.
The double L makes a Y.
Oh, okay.
So real quick though, before we jump to Tyon, real quick, I did want to read you guys a couple things about Cody Bellinger so that Cub fans can kind of get to know this guy. Son of a former Major League Baseball player, Clay Bellinger. He grew up a Yankees fan, so screw that. But he did play in the 2007 Little League World Series out of Chandler, Arizona. Drafted in 2013. Broke records his rookie season. I think he had 10 home runs in a 10-game span at one point. He had an MVP season, obviously. But this is the thing that stands out to me. This is so weird for me because a lot of these guys have their own routine. His pregame prep, while other dudes are listening to like pump-up music, Bellinger likes to listen to slow, relaxing, almost classical music or like hypnotic music before games.
I bet.
His
I
playlist.
was going to say, like, I don't think that surprises anybody.
His playlist is chill. So maybe someone needs to like grab that playlist and like throw a little bit of like Megadeth, maybe some Cannibal Corpse, something really heavy in there. Maybe, a little.
Well, the weed's not as good in Illinois as it is California, so maybe that will help the playlist.
You know how there is that? You know how
Ragweed.
there had a graphic a few years ago? It was like James Harden stats after he visited, or after he played in cities that have like more strip clubs.
Yeah.
Like we need a Cody Bellinger like city, like who has the best weed in what city, and see where he performs best after each road trip or something.
I mean, Chicago got some pretty good weed, man.
I was gonna say I don't know
okay.
from my own experience, but I mean, Zoe, maybe.
Yeah, I could say from back in the day, I could tell you, but I don't really partake as much anymore. But
Having been a connoisseur in both locations, I will say that the weed out in the West is much better.
I don't doubt that, but I wouldn't downplay the weed in Chicago.
We should do some testing.
We are
Some
across.
first-hand testing.
Chicago is a main hub for cartel and shit like that. A lot of shit gets pumped through Chicago.
I don't want my weed from a cartel anyway. That shit's ragweed.
You're missing a lot of the point. But anyways, you can see. I mean, I'm not surprised that this dude is listening to a chill playlist before games. But again,
I'm telling you, you watch him too in the outfield randomly. He acts like he's hot. There was one time I'm at Dodger Stadium and like just randomly watching Cody Bellinger. He has his glove off. He's like spinning it around his hand. Another time he's like looking up into a light and he goes like that for like in between pitches. I'm like, that has to be hot.
I can't tell you how much I love this guy. He's a lefty. He's a typical lefty. He's literally the epitome of a lefty. He's a weird freaking guy. His hat's never straight. He's weirder than hell out in the outfield. He might be a stoner, but he's also just a lefty. That right there makes it weird. Like they're weirdos. Just all of them.
I saw a lot of that too with when I was out in San Francisco and Jock Peterson in the outfield. He looked like a little kid with ADD. Like he just
that's probably true too.
I mean, he was like messing with the crowd. Like, yeah. Anyways, so the Cubs went out and got themselves in my opinion, a pretty solid ass pitcher. I think this is a bigger move for the Cubs than Bellinger. He was 14. I mean, win-loss doesn't really matter, especially because he was pitching for a good Yankees team. But he was 14-5 last year with a 3.91 ERA, 151 strikeouts with a 1.128 HLIP. He had a 1.3 BWAR. The Cubs were in dire need of pitching. I think.
Were they though? Because they had the second best ERA in the NL second half of the year.
The second half of the year. But they needed more pitching. Like everybody could say you need more pitching. I would say Dyer just because I think they really needed this pitcher. So they went out.
Currently, they have a number 2 and then 4 number 4s.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
Now, is he an ace?
Better.
No, but he adds instant value to this team. They go and get a big righty there, though. You know, if you look his similarity scores, you know, they're not the best things in the world, but again, this is, if I'm going to make these kind of comparisons, I'd be absolutely pumped to get this guy on the White Sox. So that's kind of where I'm judging a lot of these moves. But I think this is the bigger signing of the two for the Cubs. I think this is instant. You don't have to worry about him going, you know, I think Bellinger will be a fan favorite too with the Cubs, but it's going to be rough if he comes out of the gate slow, which is a very big possibility. And I think Jameson here is a little bit more of a solid bet.
I think he had was it like 177 innings this past year. I think we talked about it right before we got on with Quintana and the innings and like how deep guys are going now. Like guys just don't go deep in games anymore. Jameson Taillon does. The dude's a workhorse.
Yep.
Even after coming back from Tommy John surgery. I mean, I think he had like we talk about Mike Clevenger's down year with the Padres in 2022. Still had like a 4.2 ERA. I think it was something similar for that for Taillon in 2021. Got better in 22. He commands the strike zone, doesn't walk a lot of guys. I think he was like at the top of the leaderboard in those like walk percentage. So that's great to see. Like you said, Zoe, this is a solid signing. Middle of the rotation arm. Guy who's going to take the ball every fifth day.
Yep.
Love it. I mean, again, he's not an ace. But
I mean, he threw
after
100.
Verlander, after DeGrom, like, and I mean, the only other guys like Carlos Rodon right now. That's the true ace in the free agent market.
He threw 177 innings last year, and he only walked 32 guys.
I was like going through his stats, writing about it the other day, and I was like, wow,
impressive.
Yeah,
that's pretty fucking. Oh shit.
He is going to be what the Cubs thought they were getting in Jose Quintana when they traded for him. I think. Like a solid number 2 guy for the next couple of years.
Don't bring you're giving Kevin PTSD.
You're gonna get Fids all fired up. He's
might have a stroke.
Fids is weirdly upset with Jose Quintana for some reason.
Well, look, never mind. I'll wait. I'm showing restraint here, guys.
Don't
Actually,
worry,
Kevin.
Don't worry, Duran. We're getting
Actually, let's talk about Taillon for a second.
No, I was gonna say Kevin Quintana signing with the like your second hate or maybe your first most hated team is like a great scenario for you.
Well, yeah, I mean, just like it's all he needs to do is take some snaps with the goddamn Packers, and he's to fucking run the gamut. It's it. Like, do your dishes, but have somebody else do them, please. Don't cut your hand again, man. Sit out. No, the Taillon move is great. It gives the Cubs a number 2/number 3 type arm, a guy that throws a lot of ground balls at Wrigley too. That's the thing that I think we didn't mention is he's a ground ball pitcher. And look at what the Cubs are starting to build. And I want to say it was Bleacher Nation. See, I didn't do it. Bleacher Nation, and I didn't call him Mike Judge. Bleacher Nation even brought this up the other day, or yesterday maybe it was, about how it seems like they're bringing in a couple of these ground ball pitchers, and they're focusing on good defensive infielders, good defensive outfielders. So looks like a plan to at least play consistently good fundamental baseball with the Cubs. And Taillon he kind of fits that mold. He can eat innings. He doesn't walk a lot of guys, no free passes. You know, his BABIP has been pretty consistent over the course of his career. So it really is who he is. And last year he had a 2.3 WAR. I mean, I'll take a 2.3 WAR from a number 3 all day long.
No, and I think it's just a good move. I mean, I don't think there's too much to beat into it. I think he's a great guy to add to the rotation. I think they got him at a good price point. I just think that was a really solid move. And
that's what I wanted to bring up, Zoe, the price point. Number one, I always hate it when fans. I mean, I know that we do it on occasion. Where we'll see a deal. I mean, the Trey Turner deal. I'm sure we'll talk about these other monster deals a little later.
Yep.
Where we'll be like, oh shit, like 11 years or whatever the number is. We'll be like, what? But I do hate it when like fans get so overly obsessed with some of these bigger contracts. Don't worry, guys. MLB owners can afford it. They're not having trouble doing the payroll.
Yep.
Secondly,
well, he did have biblical losses a couple years ago. Now,
biblical.
I've heard.
Bib.
The free agency market this year if anyone listening right now watching, if you have a son or who knows, maybe one day we'll see a lady in the game or two
Yeah.
or a lot.
Just had a woman get the first D1 baseball scholarship.
That's right.
Yep.
But if you have a little boy or little girl,
Teach them to throw.
hand them a baseball. Maybe they're left-handed. Teach them how to throw.
Tie that right hand behind their back until they're 5. Do it right.
Teach them how to throw, because these guys are getting paid. They're getting paid a lot, and it's great. MLB is as healthy as ever. Revenue rise. Don't let them ever tell you otherwise. And
Did
with
you
this
see
market,
that? Did you see that list of the top 20 growing
the growing
brands in the world? MLB was like number 15,
they're like behind. What was it, like cream cheese or something?
and like now, and like
which is really blowing up.
But seriously though, for them to even be on that list, it's like,
Well,
Yeah,
the fact is they just got 30 million or 40 million or whatever it was from Apple too. Like these guys just got money, 30 million in their pocket or 40 million, whatever. I can't remember if it was 30 or 40 million.
I think it was 30.
Each one, 30 million. I mean, look, again, and fans are they've been so traumatized by the brainwashing through the media for almost decades at this point from the ownership that these are greedy players asking for their fair share when it comes to the profits that these owners are making. And now we finally get an off season where it feels like it's closer to the players getting a little bit more fair value. Call it inflation, call it whatever the hell you want, but it's not 2021. You have to overpay in this offseason if you're going to land any of these good players. The Padres offered 10 years, $400 million, according to reports, to Aaron Judge. See, I did it again. Aaron Judge, and he turned it down. You got to come big. You can't. Jed Hoyer's intelligent spending is dead. If you want to sign anybody that's going to make a massive impact, you can sign a bunch of bit players with intelligent spending, and you can be a second place team that sells a lot of tickets. Or you can be a big dog and go play with the big boys. You shouldn't run away from the Phillies. You shouldn't run away from the Dodgers. You shouldn't run away from the Padres. You shouldn't be running away from anybody in Major League Baseball if you're the Chicago Cubs. You've got money to spend. You've got a big backing. You got TD Ameritrade, all that money in the coffer. You got an extra year to wait and drop off all that payroll next year so you don't get hit with the luxury tax. You got a year to be over the tax before you get hit with it. That's next year. That's going to be the Hayward contract, maybe some other contracts off the books. Go out and just throw it down and worry about next year. Go and get. You can't steal second with your foot on first. And in this right now, if Jed really does have an open pocketbook, he cannot sit on his hands and just drop low balls. He's got to go up and beyond and wow somebody so that they don't ever get a chance to go back to another negotiation. He can't let them leave the room. At this point, it's so close that you almost don't want to let a negotiation leave the room, because the minute they leave the room, someone's going to drop something bigger and it's over. The smart ones don't let them leave. And I think that's where the Cubs, and that's where fans are like, well, it's too much. No, it's actually market value for 2022. Don't make a mistake about it. This is the market this year, and it's going to go up next year.
And a lot of that too with the contract stuff. And I don't blame the people who write when they do the contract projections, like Fangraphs does it. Yes, all the publications do it. And obviously they're going off recent history, just like what similar players have gotten. But so you always get the comparison of wait, the projection said or the prediction said he was going to get this and they're getting that. What an overpay. No, once the first couple signings happen, you have to adjust. You have to go up to what the market is. And then if you're serious about wanting a player, that's what you're going to pay.
Look, the only salary grid you need to see with projected salaries is the Pinwheels and Ivy projected salaries.
Oh, well, no. There is a reason we are not agents. We're low on everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Except for Mitch.
I keep overshooting
That's
everybody.
big numbers.
So for everyone in the comments saying talk about this, we're gonna get to all of it. Trust me, guys. We're going through people that actually put ink to paper for Chicago teams first, and then we're gonna keep going. So, I guess on the other side of things, there are a couple rumors that came out right before we went on recording. With the White Sox, good friend of the show, Herb Lawrence, was on his show on CHGO. He said his guy, he won't say who it is, but his guy who has been right before in feeding him information has said that the White Sox and Joey Gallo have been talking a lot, pretty much almost. He said it, he went as far as to say it should be announced later this week, where it's Wednesday night as we're recording this, so I gotta imagine soon. I actually shot Herb a text on the side, was like, how good do you feel about this? And he just said, this guy hasn't done me wrong in the past. So That's why earlier when Mitch was talking about how much Cody Bellinger strikes out, I was like, maybe we shouldn't dwell on that.
Dude, my jaw dropped.
You know
I
what?
thought Joey Gallo was better.
He's not.
No, he's not. But at least you have insurance for Oscar Colas if they did sign him.
Yeah,
That's
Hey,
because- yeah, go ahead.
He plays good defense. Now, mind it wasn't that great last year, but like historically, he plays good defense, and he's shown the ability to hit home runs. So if you're going to strike out a lot, fine. Because this comes up. The White Sox were one of the top, I think, 5 teams in the AL in batting average last year. They didn't strike out a ton. Look what it got him. Who gives a shit? It's about hitting home runs now. And he has shown he can hit home runs, and he plays good defense, and we're getting insurance. And he's going to be cheap, most likely. Probably like $8 to $10 million for 1 year deal, for a prove-it deal. So fine. That is fine. And now it's like the same thing with Bellinger. I'm not jumping out of my seat for it.
No.
But like that's solid. That's better than not doing anything or waiting till everyone signs so we can try and trade someone for a team that's desperate. That I won't go down that rabbit hole yet. We'll get there, I'm sure. But
I mean, basically, if this does happen, it checks off a couple boxes for me. Left-handed power bat. Check. Not a first baseman playing outfield. Check. I'm good. You can stop there.
All right, there you go.
He's a 2-time Gold Glover. It's been a little bit. I mean, he won a Gold Glove in 2021. He's got a pretty damn good arm. And again, he's not a career first baseman playing outfield for the first time. If it is a 1 year, $10 million deal, again, very fine with that number. It's a prove it deal like Bellinger's on the lower end because Bellinger definitely deserves more money than Joey Gallo. He didn't fare well in New York. Straight up said he just didn't like the life in New York. Didn't like and for everyone that thinks, White Sox Twitter and Chicago media is so tough, it doesn't hold a candle to what they do to you in New York. I mean, there's a lot of guys, as Mitch said, that get on base on this team, the good batting average. The problem was getting the runs in. And I really think if you throw a guy like Joey Gallo out there and you give him a bunch of opportunities to get runs in, he'll get runs in. I think last season was it just sucked for him, dude. Like, guys are going to have down years. It is what it is. But I think he'll be more established coming in with the team. I'm not saying he's going to be a fucking all-star. I'm not trying to, like Mitch said, I'm not starting a parade for this shit. But it's not a first baseman playing outfield, and it's a left-handed power bat.
and at least it'd be something. We're all complaining. Do something to improve the team, and at least they're doing something.
Yep. The other rumor.
Asshole. He owes me an iPad still, so
Well, maybe I'll get it from him. The other rumor
him to swole.
is that they're going to sign Victor Reyes, familiar face from the Detroit Tigers, to a minor league deal and give him a non-roster training camp invite. Switch hitting outfielder. Sure. Guy doesn't hit for pop at all, but he can hit for average a little bit. It's definitely.
Fuck yeah.
We'll chalk this one up as not a first baseman playing outfield, and why not make him earn it?
It's
Okay.
a cheaper Adam Engel with worse defense.
Yes, basically. He's not nearly as fast,
Yeah.
but that's pretty much where we're at. I mean,
Can we talk about the Liam Hendrick rumors for a second? Like, this pissed me off this way. And I know we've been saying, like, so you've been saying it for a while, like they should trade Liam Hendrick. And I
Yep.
get it because of where they're at, where they don't have a lot of money to spend. But the fact that they're at a point in the contention window where they need to trade from an area of strength to address needs is bullshit. Because the only other guy outside of Abreu that really did his job well was Liam Hendrick. He's been an all-star the past 2 years, and now all of a sudden we got to trade him to get other assets. Like, that sucks. I am not excited about the thought of having to trade Liam Hendricks if they do. But that just shows where they're at right now in this organization because the money they did spend was spent terribly. And so now we got to deal from an area of strength because the farm system sucks too to try and get anyone impactful. Like that, I was writing about it this way and it pissed me off. The fact that that's the other guy we got to trade. Like that's he's one of the few guys that did their job last year. And he's one of the guys that's going to be on the trade call.
Now, I don't think Rick Hahn has to ever worry about his job, but in terms of perception from the fan base. Is the tide starting to turn?
Yeah,
Because even last year, he was
doesn't
still
have a
getting a lot of
scapegoat, Tony
defenders.
La Russa, to take a lot of the flack for him this year. He's got his guy. That's a great communicator. So maybe he can turn things around. But that great communicator is not going to save his ass when Yoel Moncada is batting .213 in August with 5 home runs. So they better make some moves to address this thing. He doesn't have any more excuses now. Like, we've sat through the second rebuild. He's blown it up. He's gotten his guys. He had money to spend and he spent it. It didn't work out. Like, I know he's probably not in the hot seat, but he should be. Because his scapegoat with Tony La Russa is over. He got his guy. He's got no more excuses. All right, I'm done. Sorry.
I think
Love the
no,
passion. Love
it's
the
fine.
passion.
I think too that after he completely fucked up the trade deadline in 2022, I think that was kind of the straw that broke a lot of people's backs, if you will. I mean, there's already a big camp out there that is not big fans of Rick Hahn, but after the pretty bad offseason last year, completely screwing the pooch at the trade deadline, and now nothing really coming out of this winter meetings, which is fine. You don't have to do it in these 3 days, but like, there's no they're talking to, there's no one name I have not seen anything of too in these last 3 days. I guess I'm switching gears, but is that who's talking to Brandon Nimmo?
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Like, who's talking to him?
Because
Well,
really,
all-
one of the
all
top
talks
4
with-
outfielders that's available.
all
Yeah,
talks with the
haven't heard
judge
anything.
and the shortstops.
I really thought he was going to get scooped as soon as Aaron Judge went back to New York. I thought someone was going to come out right away.
Well,
but
I was gonna say, I think the other big like, forget about the rumors, because like, obviously we see like
Right.
guys sign out of nowhere. It's like, all right, cool. Like, we didn't even hear about him before. But the fact that Rick Hahn like spoke to the media, and he basically said, he didn't directly say it, but again, these guys with their lawyer talking shit. But even with that, he was kind of direct and being like, yeah, we're kind of just gonna wait it out.
He said,
Like, he
"We
said
are
it.
not driving the bus right now." Like, your strategy
but
for a contending team is let's wait and see what the other teams do, and then that'll dictate who we have to trade for, like, who the market.
well, to that point, Rick was quoted today talking about how he sympathized with White Sox fans, and here to do a dramatic reading of it in Rick Hahn's voice is his cousin, NASCAR Mitch.
Do we have the? Oh, hold on, let me pull up that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a sec.
Quiet on the set. Quiet on the set.
Quote, I could probably the last season projections, the speculative data thought we were going to be competitive, and we thought the guys like Luis Robert were going to show up, and we didn't feel like we needed to make a move at the deadline because we had a seat at the table a couple off seasons ago, and Jesus Christ. Why? Where is it? Hold on, I will pull. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
He's just improv in there right there. That was just improv.
That was great improv, though. I mean, Mitch is
Stick
like
to the
AI
script,
for
Mitch.
Rick Hahn talk.
Stick
All right,
to
here
the
we go.
script. Let's go.
I 100% empathize with it. Absolutely get it. But at the end of the day, there's no added benefit to acquiring a player doing a bad deal on December 6th. It's a lot worse deal January 6th. There's excitement. We feel it. We all know what's coming out there. Your staff out here, you're talking. There's a bit of a fever pitch and energy and focus on the game. We would certainly love to replicate some of the previous winter meetings we had where we had multiple trades or multiple free agent signings. In the end, we're not going to force it. We're going to wait till the right deal presents themselves and then act accordingly.
Now, first off, if you like that impression, make sure you smash the like button right now and follow Pinwheels and Ivy on YouTube.
Subscribe on YouTube.
Mitch,
download,
I love
everything.
how you had to choose when to stutter and go and then the we like you had to choose. You had to dramatically decide what moment you were going to insert those little bit of stutter in that Rick Hahn delivery. So
And you're so used to it. Like, I fell for his like lawyer talk back in 2016, but now it's like the cadence because he says like you can read him like a book. It's like the same thing.
So
it is like a higher voiced Barack Obama. That's really funny, actually.
Yep.
We're gonna go down
but
here.
that's pretty much, I mean, if you're a White Sox fan and you were expecting more, I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, we all know they don't have room to spend. We all know it's not going to be this fantastic thing that everybody wants it to be. And there was a lot of moves though at the winter meetings, a lot of big moves, and a lot of rumors that have come out of the winter meetings. Again, like it's not like a 3-day, like you have to do it now, whatever. But,
It's an
the biggest one obviously being Aaron Judge going back to the Yankees. I think he just played the Yankees, to be honest with you. I think he never was going to leave New York, but he did all his damn best to make it seem that way to get the extra years of money out of New York.
There was a theory that Judge's people were paying off Heyman to leak that thing so the Yankees would panic and up the offer. I don't know if, I mean, probably not true, but
That's pretty deep right there. That's some tinfoil stuff right there. That's good.
There's another thing that he apparently staged that video of him in San Francisco. Like that was all
An airport?
planned.
Yep.
It was a TikTok, wasn't it?
Something like that.
Yeah.
And then
Oh no! Oh no! That's the song that goes with that video now.
Wilson, former Cubs
Cub Zone. I
catcher.
swear to God, Cub Zone. I swear to God.
Wilson Contreras put pen to paper with the St. Louis Cardinals. Stayed in division, went to the rival. My question on that for you two, are you guys mad? I know it always sucks seeing your player go to a rival like that, but what I would be more mad at is they didn't trade him. And now he walks to a rival and you got nothing in return.
Oh, we got a draft pick and some money.
Qualifying offer, yeah, got some QO pick.
woo!
I mean, don't hurt your
Yeah.
back while you're reaching.
Can I be honest too? And
I mean,
I know
this is what Kevin was begging for like a couple years ago for Chris Bryant.
what, a trade?
A qualifying offer.
Qualifying offer? Yeah, I know. He didn't even give one. He got one, but look, I'm going to say this.
He got traded.
Look, Yeah, KB. I'm talking about Wilson got one.
Oh, well.
Yeah, but I'm going to say this right now. Look, and I'm going to probably anger some Cub fans because look, it's the name on the front, not the name on the back kind of thing, and especially when it comes to like rivalries and stuff. Look, Wilson Contreras got like 4,000 freaking teary goodbyes over the last year and a half. Every single fucking chance that there was. I love being a Cub. If you love the Cubs, there's no chance in fucking hell that you're going to sign with the St. Louis Cardinals. Just like if you love the Bears, you're no chance you're going to sign with the Green Bay Packers. So for me personally, he has turned heel. He has now gone from Hulk Hogan in the gold to NWO Hulk Hogan with the fake painted on black, 3 o'clock shadow. He is going to be a heel against the Cubs. And to think, you guys know how he plays the game. All right. He's a smart ass. He's a troll. He loves to fucking go after rivals and to be demonstrative. That's 5 years he's going to be doing that back to the Cubs. Because don't it might be pretty cute the first time. After a couple series or two, he's going to become the biggest pain in the ass for Cub fans. And Cub fans are going to, I will not give him a standing ovation. I will not do that. I refuse to give any Cardinal a standing ovation. Just like I wouldn't even give Chase and Shreve in a Cardinals uniform a standing ovation. I do a little clap under the seat. All right. Might clap my cheeks or something. But him or I can't do it. So for me, to him to take that, look, and I know he probably it's a good payday. It is, and money does talk, but he has to know what this means to everybody else that supported him over the last, especially year and a half. Don't go, Willie. Extend, Willie. We love you, Willie. Look, you don't say I love you and then go bang my least favorite person in the world after that. Like, you don't go do that. You just don't. You find a way to do something else, I guess. And you know what? He had a contract offer from what I understand from Houston. He took the Cardinals. He took the money. He's not dead to me, but that Wilson Contreras has passed, and now it's that Cardinal Contreras, the Molina 2.0, because that's who he is now.
Hold on, Kat. But the reason he had all those goodbyes were because the Cubs kind of did him dirty. Did he not want to re-sign with them? And they're like, nah, we're not going to. And then they kept telling him they was getting traded. Like, he thought he was getting traded. They put that man on an unnecessary emotional roller coaster through half of the season.
How
I
dare?
want to return. I don't blame him. He's going with the money.
How dare Wilson Contreras take the best contract offer to him?
Mhm.
What a fucking idiot!
How dare?
What is his problem?
Look, all the other guys were disloyal for going somewhere else.
Can
None
you
of them were the
believe it?
Cardinals.
He put his time in. It's like a lesser
Can you
version.
believe
a
it?
much lesser
So,
version
can
of
you
Jose
believe
Reyes.
this?
He won a ring. He put his time in. He had some great moments there.
Yeah, I played in
Because he
70
signed with the
games in
Cardinals.
2016. He was a third string catcher for the
He was
Cubs.
still
We had
on.
Miggy Montero and
Can
David
you
Ross.
believe this?
The White
So,
Sox still
this
like
fucking traitor.
He's a
How
trade.
dare he?
He loved on the White Sox, and he had one moment. Wilson Contreras has had multiple, and he still
How
won a ring, no matter how
dare
many.
he?
He does have a ring. He does have a ring. So does Matt Caesar, who played more games than him that year. Now,
And
how
I would
about
give
this,
that
though? I'm going to say this.
I was a Cubs fan and
Yeah.
came back.
My anger aside of him signing with the Cardinals, Doesn't that tell you a little bit about how he feels about Jed Hoyer and the Chicago Cubs organization?
No, it tells you how he feels about money.
Well-
He's a good capitalist.
Okay.
Wilson
You guys
Contreras isn't from Chicago. He has
He's been with the Chicago Cubs since he was 15 years old. He's been with the Cubs since he was 15
doesn't-
years old.
He wanted to stay though, and they were like, before the season,
Exactly,
he wanted to sign
Kevin.
an extension, and the
He's been
Cubs
with the
were like,
Cubs
"Nah,
since-
we're good."
I'm not gonna. Hey, look, I'm gonna die on this hill. So you guys can cheer on the Cardinals because you guys would. You're Sox fans. Although, if you want to give a standing ovation to a Cardinal, go for it. You guys fan the way you do. I'm going to flip him the bird and tell him he needs to go pay the people wherever he broke that TV last spring at the All-Star game, at the All-Star break when he fucking lost his shit and busted out of television. Guess what, guys? Yeah, true story. That was him. So, no, look, he wanted to stay. Jed didn't sign him. If this isn't a middle finger to Jed Hoyer, if anything else, by signing with a rival like that, absolutely. Look, he's going to play for the Cardinals. He gets no quarter from me. All right, they are a divisional rival. They are not our friends. They are our rival in the division. I want everything in if I can wish every single fail on him for the rest of his 5 years in St. Louis, I absolutely will. Because he's a Cardinal.
That's
period.
fine.
And that's
Number
really where it
one.
goes.
Just to address a few things. Number one, I mean, Wilson Contreras was called up in the middle of June in 2016, so that might be a reason why he only played in 72 games. Number two, Kevin, I think most fans agree with you. Like, I think most fans are like, yeah, he's with the Cardinals now. I hope they still suck. I mean, I don't think there's anyone going to be like, yeah, let's go Cardinals. Hope Wilson Contreras wins a World Series with them. I don't know where you're getting that from.
I didn't say that. I just said I'm not going to root for him, and I feel like he's a traitor now. So I'm allowed to feel that way.
Do you feel that way about Dexter Fowler?
Yeah, I did. I
John
wouldn't even
Lester?
sing karaoke with Dexter because of that. I was
John
just
Lester?
angry. Yeah.
Oh, John Lester was traded, I think. So.
Yeah, he didn't control that. He didn't choose. And look what happened to Dex in St. Louis. That's what happened. He got-
No, but you guys always say that these guys can just quit. John Lester could have quit.
Well,
He didn't have to pitch for the
and-
Cardinals.
And Dex was black in St. Louis, so that's what happened with that. But
It's good to see. It's good to see that the Cardinals finally got a good catcher, though.
as someone that doesn't have a
Cardinals got
dog in
better.
this fight, I am not a big fan of the St. Louis fan base. The Best Fans in Baseball Twitter account is both hilarious and scary as fuck. But from a strict baseball perspective on this, great move by the Cardinals.
Yeah, it is.
Great move by the Cardinals. Good, they got them at a pretty good price too, keeping it under 100 mil. They got a great
And
off.
AAV is 1.5 million less than the QO too,
They
I believe. Or is it 2.5?
they got
The
a,
QO is 19.5. So what is his AAV? 17?
I don't do math. They got a great offensive catcher in an already pretty damn strong lineup with Goldie and Arenado and all those other guys. And I don't think they're done. Because that brings us to the big, I guess, main topic here, an hour into the show, is the fucking shortstop market. That was the big headline going into the damn winter meetings. Trey Turner just didn't give a fuck. He saw the money. He's like, yeah, I'm good. And I thought as soon as he signed with the Phillies, that the rest would kind of fall
They
in
didn't have
line.
hype videos voiced over by John Hamm. I
That's
think
true.
that was their problem.
Maybe does Contreras get one now? Isn't John Hamm like a huge Cardinal fan?
It's true.
He
Maybe
might
he
get
will.
one. But
You're talking about the actor, John Hamm?
Yeah,
John Hamm,
Trey
he's a
Turner
diehard
had this
Cardinals
really
fan.
cringy video.
Oh,
voiced over by John Hamm to try and boost his like free agency stuff. It was like a hype.
It was leaked.
yep.
Remember, it was leaked.
That's right. I'll say this, by the way, side note. His new Fletch movie is actually pretty freaking funny.
No, you can't watch it. You Cardinals fan. You can't watch it.
Yeah.
Can't watch it. You're
Can't watch
fucking
it.
traitor. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Sure.
You know what?
No, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear
You
it.
know
I
what?
don't
Why
wanna
don't
hear
you
Sure.
bend over and spell run 3 times
I
here,
don't
Chico?
wanna
Let's
hear
go. Shut your mouth.
it. I don't wanna hear it.
Traitor.
Traitor to your.
But
Watching
the short
Cardinals fans movies.
so the Cubs now have been linked to the three.
Over again.
Is it three? Yeah, the three remaining big tier shortstops in Correa, Xavier Bogaerts, and Swanson. From what I'm seeing in the baseball Twitter world, I feel fairly confident that Xavier Bogaerts is staying in Boston.
Sanders.
Seems that way.
Xavier Xander. Yeah. Staying
Mike
in
Judge
Boston.
is staying in New York too, so
That's Arson Judge.
Arson Judge with the Giants.
Arson Judges with the Giants. But Bogart's probably going to stay in Boston. A couple people that are very plugged into the Red Sox, they don't want to Heyman themselves, but they said that they feel pretty strong about him going back, even though he's linked to being talking to.
I'm getting similar vibes though, because that came out like 6 hours ago.
and nothing since.
Like,
Yeah, it was
nothing
7 hours ago. It looks. I'm looking at the tweet. It was 7 hours ago.
Yeah.
That one that we're talking about, the one about
from
him.
from
Fuck,
Gravis.
no, wheeling and dealing. They got a closer there with Jansen. They got that outfielder from Japan.
Yeah.
I think they're
Yeah.
trying to build a contender.
No, they're definitely on it. It's just I think I think I'm with you, Zoe.
Yeah, I
Xander's
think-
going back to
I
the
think
Red
he's
Sox.
so basically that leaves you with Correa and Swanson. So
Both.
I definitely don't think that's happening. And
You guys should do a tattoo bet.
you guys in these tattoos.
If the Cubs sign both, Zoe
Zoe has to get their names tattooed on his face.
has to get what would it be? If you have Correa,
One name under each eye.
Yep. Like a teardrop.
Correa.
Caronson,
Actually,
Swanson.
get their faces inside of
Look
a
at the blue
teardrop,
face.
though.
So I really
That'd be
think
so painful. The amount of teeth.
that Aaron Judge or Arson Judge's cousin Aaron going back to the Yankees hurt the Cubs' chances of getting Carlos Correa.
Yep.
Because now I think the teams that were huge into getting Judge, which were the Giants and apparently the Padres, because I don't know what the fuck's going on in San Diego, but nobody wants to go there right now. They're offering people more money and they're going to other teams. Welcome to White Sox land, fuckers. They've been stealing our players for so many damn years.
And now we got
Right.
shares.
But so the Giants and the Padres now find themselves in this situation where they're like, all right, well, we were about to drop 300 mil on this dude. Didn't happen. We got this money. Let's go get Carlos Correa. Because if you're telling me I got to pick one of the two, I'm taking Carlos Correa over Dansby Swanson.
Oh, of course.
Absolutely. But the
And-
Padres, they already got their Machado and they
Machado's
got
going to play third. They want to put Tatis in the outfield, and that Asian dude, they want him playing second base.
Yeah.
So they go out and they
And-
get themselves a Carlos Correa. That lineup is looking sexy.
And Machado can opt out next year.
And Machado can
That's
opt out
true.
next year. But I think the Padres are going to go really hard for Carlos Correa. I think they're going to probably outbid the Cubs out of it. I don't know if it makes sense for him to go to the Giants, but Correa very much so is a money talks guy. You know, from
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole I'm a Prada bag or whatever the hell piece of rich shit he compared himself to with regards to
There's like
the
three
sport.
things. There's every pretentious brand you could think of.
Yeah.
He was a Gucci belt, a Prada bag.
Yeah, dude, it's a bag and a belt.
He's
But-
a money guy. He's a
Yeah.
win now guy. Obviously, the Padres roster stacked, so
Yep.
he'd be going to a pretty sweet spot.
but a not so terrible consolation prize, which I really do. I even put it on our projection sheet. You Dansby Swanson, best
I'd like
defensive, best
That's not
defensive
a
middle
bad-
infielder in baseball.
If there
Yeah.
weren't all these other shortstops, like if it was any other offseason, I think you would be pretty excited about a Dansby Swanson.
I think so too. Yeah, Jake Cronenworth goes to first base for the Padres. Padres could be so good. But go ahead, Fitz. I know that you have strong feelings about how this shortstop thing is playing out.
It's not strong feelings. It's just that he had his best career season right now, and that would be what we call an outlier for a guy that has a career 2.3 WAR over the most. His highest WAR up to that point was a 3 WAR. He was a 2.3, a 1.0, a negative 0.2, a 1.4, a 2. I mean, he had an absolutely freaking fantastic year. He played 162 games. But is this that season in a salary, in a contract season kind of thing that you end up paying a guy and he's that this wasn't not who he was? The max 3.4, 2.3, 2.0, 1.4 WAR is him, and that's with great defense, by the way. So his offensive WAR. Let's really look at the offense. Yes, he's fantastic. He's the best defensive shortstop in the National League, if not Major League Baseball. And he'll be playing right next to the second best shortstop defensively in the National League, who's going to move over to second if he comes over there. That's absolutely fine. But his WAR is predicated specifically on his defense. He had a 95 WRC plus this past year. Oh, excuse me, 116. 116, slightly above average. He had a 99 WRC plus in 2021. He has hovered around 100 basically his entire year and below 100 most of his career. So this isn't, the 116 in his career year WRC plus isn't necessarily that great to me. And I don't put him on the same tier as a Correa, a Turner, and a Bogarts. I think that he's the second tier. He's like that second tier of quarterbacks in the NFL too. He's still very good, but he's not a centerpiece. He's not someone that you like hang your hat on and say, look at this, we did well. He's a guy that had a very good 2022, and if he can keep that up, absolutely fantastic. But I mean, if you look at the numbers, that's just as improbable probably as Cody Bellinger getting back to a 7-7 WAR. That was heads above any season he's ever had in his career. Yet it still was only a 116 WRC plus, and that's important to me. He strikes out a lot too.
I mean, I guess as a White Sox fan, who we have this huge black hole at second base, the thought of having a middle infield of Nico and Dansby is like baseball porn to me right now. And it could just be from a position in, like I said, where the White Sox, I don't even know who the fuck's playing second base for the White Sox right now.
Bring back
Larry
Yolmer
Legend.
Sanchez.
Yolmer Sanchez can't hit the ocean with a stone.
You know what? 2019 Yolmer Sanchez is a lot better when they were trotting out last year.
Ooh, take that.
He can play the field, Gold Glove second baseman. Just he can't hit worth a shit.
No, he can't. He's washed.
Giants legend.
Lenine Sosa ain't looking too hot though right now, and I'm not happy about their internal options.
Yeah, I still got to watch that Project Birmingham.
Birmingham.
Oh, that pissed me off. So
Did you watch it?
no, I want to. I'm going to, but I was just
I'm
like,
gonna watch
really,
that.
this is what we're posting. And
I
this
also-
It's the timing. It's just the timing.
I was
Dude,
going to say,
terrible.
I think the time that was not a coincidence. They 100% released that during the winter meetings because they knew they weren't going to do shit.
I feel, but that's the thing. They got so much negative reaction to it. They should have held off.
Yeah, but they're not smart, and we know that. They've proven that time and time again. Rick Hahn was probably going down there to play Parcheesi in a couple rounds of golf, and he's like, all right, we got to distract people. I don't do anything. Let's make a documentary.
On Dansby Swanson, I mean, there's probably like a tweet or two I have to delete if he does sign with the Cubs. But like you said, Zoe, he's a good player. I mean, I totally get where Kevin's coming from, and I feel I probably feel very similar. It's like if you're going to be spending this much money, if the checkbook truly is open, then go get the best player, or you know what? At least make the offer, make the strongest offer for the best player, because like we've seen, just because you offer the most money doesn't guarantee you that you're going to sign a guy. Like I don't want to see, like, that's the thing. If Carlos Correa just end up going to the Giants or the Padres, the Twins, whoever it is, and I find out that the Cubs like didn't at least match or go above, I'd be like, why? What were you guys doing? Like you're saying that you like have been in love with him since he was taken first overall when he was drafted. You try to get him last year. Obviously, you're trying to get him again. Then fucking like offer up the most money then. But again, I've been writing about it for like the past week. I'm not going to be upset if the Cubs sign Dansby Swanson. That'd be dumb. I think that'd be dumb to be like you can feel underwhelmed.
We're gonna be upset. That's underwhelmed. That's a better word.
Yeah, like you can be underwhelmed. Like
not enough.
Like
Not enough.
But that's I think that a good way, if we want to paint like an optimistic, rosy picture for Dansby Swanson, is like, hey, I think he's also 28, 29 years old. I think he's like a year older than Correa. But maybe he's coming to his own.
He's almost 29. He'll be turning 29 before the season starts.
He's going to be in his age 29 season. Like, hey, maybe he's coming into his prime. He's been better the last 2.5 years. I know he had he was still below average in 21. But maybe he is getting better. He does hit for power. I mean, guys, the home run numbers were down. Like, besides, the Yankees getting those fucking.
We got to talk about.
Did you see his Fangraph projections though? He's projected to hit 247, have a 309 OBP with a 3.4 WAR, and that's mostly defense.
The 3. I mean, if he's a consistent like 3.5 WAR player,
But that's not offensive. The Cubs don't have a defensive issue. The Cubs play pretty good defense even in 2022. It's
No, but that's the thing, Kevin. The Cubs
offense.
don't get better in one spot. They get better in two spots because we don't have to worry about counting on Nick Madrigal to stay healthy because you have Nico Horner at second base, and then you basically have Nico Horner who can hit home runs at shortstop. So I'll take that.
Yeah, but we still have Patrick Wisdom's every 5 days showing up kind of thing to worry about. And that's where, look,
That's
I'm
the thing, like,
super stoked. I said this too. I'm super stoked and I'm not, Zoe, I know you're making fun of me. I'm not out on the Cubs signing two shortstops. I'm not out on the Cubs signing Swanson and somebody else. I think that the Correa Swanson thing could very well be something that could happen. I think that Bogarts was the one that really felt like it was close. But to me, again, we talked about it a little bit in our chat too. If the Cubs sign Bellinger, Taillon, they get Swanson, and they get one of the other shortstops. Obviously, they have them shift over. They're paying them a little extra, like I've been begging them to do anyway, to move one of those guys to third. But now you have Swanson, who's a better defensive shortstop than Nico. You've built yourself an infield. You have, over at first, you have Mervis. You have Bellinger that can go out there and spell Mervis if Mervis kind of stumbles out of the gate. You've got some pretty good depth. You've got solid defense all the way around the diamond and in the outfield. So, I think that the Cubs' biggest problem in 2020 wasn't anything other than consistent bats. They would show up and disappear, and that's what the Cubs need.
Sorry to interrupt you there. But what if they sign Swanson, he's a shortstop, and then you get like a Josh Bell for first base?
Or Justin Turner. I'd be
That's
fine with Justin Turner and Swanson. I'd be okay with that.
Josh Bell's on the Guardians.
Yeah, he's Guardian.
I'm an idiot.
Yeah, no, but I'd be fine with, like you say, if they I mean, that's not going to happen, but like a Justin
Well, you
Turner.
know who they're going to get, Mitch?
Trey Mancini.
My guy, cancer survivor.
You
Trey
just wait
Mancini.
until the rain delay speech he gives. They thought Jason Hayward's was good. Wait till the cancer survivor gives his. Boy, people are going to be running through a wall after they hear that speech. They're going to be ready.
Last time the Cubs signed a guy who battled cancer, they won the World Series.
It's true.
John Lester.
There you go.
And Rizzo, right?
Rizzo.
And
Rizzo.
Rizzo.
Yeah,
Well, that was a trade, though.
That's a trade. That's true. But they did re-sign him. They did extend him at once, at least for the team-friendly deal.
The thing with Justin Turner, I think Justin Turner either resigns with the Dodgers or retires. I think he's at a point in his career where it's just not worth, the juice isn't worth the squeeze to him to go play somewhere else.
I disagree.
His bro Belly.
He'll get one back.
Who do you think he got? Who do you think Bellinger got his weed from? The freaking guy from Game of Thrones.
I think Turner's gonna get a deal from somebody.
He's going to get a deal from the Dodgers. I'm just saying that pairing. We need the Cubs need to pair a bat with Swanson. They need to get a that's the thing is I just
who
Swanson's
could bring
bat
some
is not going to do it for the Cubs. They already were solid. It wasn't the pitching and the defense in the second half of the season that the Cubs struggled with. It was putting runs on the board consistently.
Yep.
That's where the Cubs have to act. And obviously a pitching staff, you obviously get a better starting rotation, but the bullpen was actually pretty fucking good. So, and you have some emerging guys. And that's why I said, I mean, I'd be so ecstatic if the Cubs were able to land two of the shortstops and do it that way. Like that to me, I would be like, Jed, I owe you a pappy and I will take you out for a nice pappy because that is a quality offseason. Now go sign all the rest of your minor league deals and do whatever the hell you do and sign Chasen, please.
Well, no, Chase needs to get some money from the Phillies.
He needs to call the Mets. They're the Phillies. Yeah, he was Phillies. It's Phillies. That's right. Fuck the Mets.
I think a name that could make sense because I do think because right now the main reporting that we're seeing past couple days is they're going hard after Correa, but it's going to get harder, or the Giants are going to make it harder because they're going to offer a big contract to him probably. Mm-hmm. So their fallback option is Dansby Swanson, which again, underwhelming, but still the Cubs get better. The Cubs get better. Dansby Swanson. You can't center your offense around him, but you're still improving.
What about Brendan Drury at third?
That's the name I was going to bring up.
Can't have
Brendan Drury.
Can't have him come to the White Sox.
You guys can't. You guys already spent your money.
You're done.
Nope,
Rick's
you already got Cody
table.
Bellinger. I wanted him. You guys got him. You can't have two.
No, and we're taking Thanga too.
That's. I mean,
no, you guys are
get an argument over something. Ice cream account.
You're gonna be spending $10 million on Gallo, 12 on Clevenger. You guys are done.
You're done. Yeah.
I'm
Jerry's
actually surprised Drury still.
Cut this guy off.
Surprised Drury doesn't have a deal yet.
No, all these teams are waiting for the shortstop market to get.
Yeah. This is that secondary market we were talking about. What was it Yumper actually suggested? Who's the DH Because the Cubs
Jose
obviously.
Aguilar. Or no, Nelson Cruz. I don't want Nelson Cruz.
No, you're not a Nelson Cruz. You
If I-
don't think he's going to find the
signing right there. A guy that
How many
killed him for years.
I'd
Frank
rather.
Over 40.
I'd rather do. I mean, I don't think this guy is as old, but he still proved to have like a little power with the Marlins last year. Like if they bring in a guy like Jose Aguilar
JD Martinez.
or JD Martinez, like I'd be fine with those types of signings
Mhm.
for like
Those would
first
help.
base DH.
Did you guys
And you
see
do that
Nelson
with
Cruz
Swanson.
showed up?
I'll shut up too. Those kind of moves with Swanson.
Did you see Nelson Cruz showed up to the winter meetings in a suit
Yeah.
himself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're wearing a polo?
That's what Yumper shared. He's like Nelson Cruz guys, maybe.
He's got like a bolo on too. It's awesome.
I do remember. Remember he wasn't he good with the Twins? Still,
Mhm.
yeah, he
Yeah.
was a fucking beast, right?
2021, he had a pretty solid year.
Yeah, he
Before
was
he
just
got-
lost. I mean, the Nationals were a glorified AAA team.
That was
like,
such a weird signing. Like,
Yeah.
why did he sign with the Nationals?
Yeah, that made no sense.
which maybe indicates what the market, if there is one, is on him. But
But wasn't he an all-star in 2021?
I
he
think
with the
yeah,
Twins,
he had
yeah.
a monster
He
year.
hit 20 homers or 19 homers, hit
fucking
294.
mashed against the goddamn White Sox. I'll tell
He
you
always
that.
killed the White Sox.
He's a guy
Yeah.
you play him like 85 games a year, and he gives you some bop. Like that's a, let the other guys kind of filter through as a DH, but let that you play him like.
I'm
85
with
games a
you,
year.
Kevin. Though the Cubs, that's the thing. Even if let's say they do get Correa, they still need like another bat because again, Cody Bellinger, you can't be like, yeah, Cody Bellinger is going to be good. Like no, that's far from like a guarantee. So you still need another bat, especially because as we mentioned, they're losing Wilson Contreras, who was their best hitter in 2022. Like you have to fill that offense too. I think that they are going to sign a catcher. They've been meeting with Christian Vasquez, who's been with the Red Sox, got traded to the Astros. His top priority, obviously money, but he wants to be a starter. Cubs have Yan Gomes, who's just looked really old and bad.
Do you think that Wilson signing with the Cardinals puts Houston back in play for him though now too?
No,
They were-
it depends on what they tell him for playing time. Because he was already before. I think I was looking at the story because I remember seeing a quote how he was saying like he was already talking about free agency in the middle of the postseason when he was with the Astros. He's like, yeah, everyone knows I'm going to be a free agent. I get to pick where I go. I'm looking to get more playing time because I think he started like less than half the games after he got traded.
Astros got a
to the
kid
Astros.
coming up too, a catcher that they really like.
Yeah, so I think with Vasquez, it's obviously about the money, the years, how many years he can get. He's 32, but it's also like, how much playing time is he going to get? And the Cubs, they have Yan Gomes, who's like 36 years old. So
I think the Red Sox would be a sneaky team for Vasquez because they loved him up in Boston. Like that locker room was upset after they got traded. So I mean, if he got the playing time, like you said, I think that could be an under the radar team. Brings him back.
Corey Lee, that's his name. Fuck, Corey Lee. He's a catcher for the Astros. He's 24 years old. He saw a little bit of MLB time this year, but it's not like the Astros don't have anyone. They're pretty high on this kid.
And the other part with Contreras signing now, so that's going to move a couple other parts. But then I think teams are still waiting on what the A's are going to do with Sean Murphy. He's been like the biggest trade name guy out there. But the A's, I think Rosenthal wrote about it on Tuesday. The A's want like MLB players back in a trade. So who knows when he gets traded, if he gets traded, so that might be slowing up the catcher's market right now.
Yeah, I definitely still think Sean Murphy's going to the Red Sox.
Or maybe the Cubs.
Could be.
No, I don't think the Cubs have enough.
Nicky Two Strikes.
He'd be in the deal, but
He would be definitely.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the Chicago radio callers being like, after the story came out on Monday, when it was like, oh, there's a scenario, where the Cubs could get two shortstops. People were like, well, what are they going to do with Madrigal? Where does he fit? He fits nicely in Oakland.
Yeah, that fits really nicely with the Las Vegas Athletics.
Or, I mean, Zoe, you just asked like 20 minutes ago, who's playing second base for the White Sox?
I mean, at this point,
Nicky Tuesday.
Not going to be Nicky Two.
I don't think they'd trade for him.
Nick
That would be weird.
Madrigal
That would be
for
so weird.
That'd be pretty awkward.
Kendall Graveman.
Joe Kelly, and you gotta
Quiet
do.
there. It's a little silence.
Go ahead. Go for no. Yohan Moncada tweeted this really weird picture, but
It's one of your AI pictures. He did the
Yeah.
AI thing. It's his little whatever that. What is that called?
it's got war paint and shit on it. But no, I mean, all these hypotheticals all get kind of beaten to death, and it's just I don't think the White Sox would trade for Nick Madrigal. I think he'd be included in a trade for Sean Murphy, but like Aldo said, I don't think they have the horses to match something like Boston or someone else can
A
offer.
sneaky team. I mean, you guys.
Is the
hate it.
Guardians?
The
I don't know
Guardians.
though. This is the one thing that Jed super excels at, though. I'll say
Yeah.
this: Jed is kind of a little bit of a trade wizard. So
He hasn't done this part though yet. He's sold like the Sean Murphy types. He
that's
hasn't
true.
traded
That's
for one
a
yet.
good point. Yeah, they've been more the Rays than he's been the.
Now I don't know how like much he was involved with like when Theo was around with like that part of the front office back then. They did like some great trades like getting Fowler, getting Jake Arrieta, turning him around,
Quintana.
getting Quintana. I mean, hey,
It's his fault.
Kevin. I mean, if Jed Hoyer was in charge, the Cubs weren't going to make that trade.
See, that's where I will give Jed some credit. I will give Jed
But-
and I were on the same little page right there.
I think another move
I
that
feel like that
'cause you-
will fare well in the open market.
you just mentioned it, although and we haven't brought it up, but Josh Bell, our Guardians, fucking hate that.
I did too. That's why I blocked it out. I completely forgot about it.
Right, which is like
Yeah,
he's
and then I
still out there.
Blocked it out.
Is it bad
Absolutely,
that I wasn't sold on him? Like when the Cubs were even mentioned as a possibility, I was kind of like, man.
absolutely hate that. But it's different. His fit with the Cubs is different than his fit with the Guardians.
Because it directly affects us.
Well, no, I'm just saying more in the lineup though. To have a switch hitting first baseman in that Cleveland lineup that can hit for some average, definitely has some pop. Like,
Ugh.
I think he's a guy. He's a good OBP guy too.
yep,
I think so. That's.
Yeah.
I mean, they had like a lot of contact hitters. They don't really have a lot of guys who walk. So he adds
Right.
that element to the lineup.
yeah, it's a great pickup for them. But as you mentioned, Mitch, it directly affects us, and
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to it
No.
that way.
They're gonna be. I mean, they're gonna be good again next year. And now they got some. Now they're playing with confidence.
Yep.
Because last year there was like no. I mean, they didn't have a whole lot of pressure on them, and I think you kind of saw as they hung around throughout the year, their confidence grew, and now they know they can play with anyone. Like they could have easily won that series with the Yankees as well. You bring in a guy like Bell, that amount of pop. And that was the one thing they lacked last year was power. They didn't hit a lot of home runs, but they did a lot of little things right. Now you get a guy that hits home runs. That's a well balanced lineup.
And they're also heavily involved in the catcher's market too. So like obviously in on Murphy, Vasquez. So they're gonna improve in a couple spots.
And they're a pitching factory. You know, there's going to be some random guy out of Double A that's going to be a stud for them too, because that's just always how it works for Cleveland.
Scarred. Some PTSD right there.
They
It's
know.
like a fans with the Cardinals. It's like the Cardinals can turn like some random ass Joe into like, oh look, superstar Quintana. Hey, I'm all of a sudden gonna have a 2 ERA and go 3-2. What the
Not
hell?
only do the Cardinals just do that, the names. It's always the fuck Lars Good. Was it
Who's the
Lars Goodbar?
Good bar. Newt good bar.
Lars Newt.
Newt?
Yeah,
Newt bar?
whatever.
Nude bar. Nudie bar.
Had He had like 2 good months. He was pretty good.
Like,
Yeah, just like out of nowhere. I knew the second I saw his name, like, oh, well, this guy's just gonna
You
hit
did. I think
300.
you actually said that on the show. You definitely said that's recorded somewhere where you saw his name and you were like, "Yeah, this guy's gonna be a stud now."
Well, I was gonna ask you guys. So out of the big deals that we've seen, so DeGrom to the Rangers. Like we have even talked about the bigger pitching deals. DeGrom to the Rangers, Verlander to the Mets.
I love that move for the Mets. I think that he's going to be a stud in New York. That's going to be they for losing a guy like DeGrom, who's had his injury problems too. I mean, because they're trying to win now. That's like, all right, we'll lose him. We'll spend the money on Verlander. Like that was a great move. I like it. Being
It's a
aggressive.
good move, but
do you think they're going look at all the Phillies deal?
Don't downplay DeGrom.
No, he's the best pitcher in baseball.
Yeah.
By far. But if you're going to lose a guy to go out and get Verlander,
Yes.
you're still.
Oh, I
Yeah.
agree there. I just,
Do you think-
once the deal happened, sorry, Fitz, I saw like
Okay.
all these people. Oh, DeGrom, he gets hurt, and then all you pull up his Savant page, dude.
No, he's a stud. Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
an absolute stud.
yeah. Sorry,
But
go
do you-
ahead, Fitz.
Well, do you think that Cohen right now though too? Because Cohen's got a huge ego. I don't know about the rest of them, but I know he's got a huge ego at least. Do you think that he's looking over at Philly right now and just feeling like inferior right now? I mean, he was supposed to be the big guy that was like the I'm throwing money at all of this. I mean, they are like 40, 50 over
My
the
payroll's
luxury
bigger
tag.
than yours.
Yeah, and now the Phillies are like, hey, little guy. Oh, he's just a little guy, isn't he?
Well, this is what he gets for signing James McCann.
That's true.
Because I think he gave James McCann was like a 4-year, $46 million contract.
Yeah, he came
Which
out
everyone
red
knew
hot.
was a bad idea. I mean, a lot of Sox fans didn't, but like the writing was on the wall there.
Yep.
It is one outlier year and a half.
Yeah.
It's a good question right here. I'll tell you this: people that play with Bryce Harper like Bryce Harper. They love him as a teammate, unless your name is Scott or Papelbon, Jason Papelbon, right? No, Scott.
Man, Philly fans, as much shit as Philly fans get, they're some of the most loyal. Like, if you're good and you play your ass off out in Philly, they treat you like royalty, man.
Their MLS team was in the championship this year, and no one gives a crap about MLS soccer. That stadium was packed. There's a good team in Philadelphia. Their fans are showing up.
Yeah.
Yep. And you just make sure that you are good, successful, or they will throw batteries at you.
Right.
So you've got
And,
like there's a side to that coin as well.
Specific stuff with Turner, I think it was like his wife's family's like in Jersey. Kevin Long, quote unquote White Sox manager candidate, Kevin Long, who is his hitting coach with the Nationals, is with the Phillies now. So like that's obviously something that he wanted to go back to. And like Trey Turner, that's a perfect example of like guys just like to go where they're comfortable. It isn't always about money.
And it's a winning too. He's had to play a team that was 2 wins away from winning the World Series, and now he's going to interject himself into that lineup. Like, yeah, man. Look, the rich have gotten richer this offseason with the Phillies. It's weird. It's actually an offseason where the Dodgers didn't outspend everybody. I mean, it's not over yet, so I guess I shouldn't jinx it. Shit. Padres are out there. But look at the arms race in the National League. You got the Padres. You got the Dodgers. You've got the Phillies. Who else? Who else has been spending?
The Rangers,
Pirates.
they're not in the National League.
The Pirates. No,
The
but
Pirates have been spending.
The Cardinals.
The Cardinals.
I mean, yeah, I'm just saying, like at the top, that like the beast, the ridiculous payrolls, like guys with massive, like I mean, again, you look at the Dodgers lineup, and there's like 5 All-Stars to start off your lineup. And you're looking Philly, you've got 5 potential All-Stars to start off your lineup. Same thing with San Diego. I mean, it's insane how good these are super teams, but they're not super teams like in the NBA where dudes like collude to come together and like take pay cuts. These guys are getting paid to go to these places. Yeah, they might get a lower AAV, but they're also getting like guaranteed years.
Well,
too.
and another draw.
And no trade clauses, because that's another thing that Turner got was a no trade clause, which is gold for these guys now.
Yeah, you look at Philadelphia too. I mean, their sports legend is a fictional movie character. You win a World Series with them, you're immortalized. I mean, that's got to be a good selling point for them. If you're going down,
And your own spot on It's Always Sunny. You can like get to go to Patty's Pub and be on the episode, just like with Wade Boggs.
I feel like the Dodgers are finally in a spot now where that awesome farm system they've had for so many years is going to come to fruition. I think we're going to see a lot of these kids coming up for the Dodgers this year. That's why they're not. And it like all said at the beginning of the show, there's
Mets.
the reports coming out that the Dodgers aren't going to go after Carlos Correa because they just know how much that would piss off their fans.
Yep.
Why? I don't know. That surprises me. I feel like that would be a move right up their alley.
Normally it would.
Well, and this is all their fault in the first place, by the way. They did this to themselves. Everybody else is spending because what the Dodgers have done the last few years, everybody is playing catch up now. They're like, well, if they did it, we got to do it too. This is the only way to keep up. So the Dodgers have created this beast by being the first spender. They started the trend, and now everybody, again, I didn't forget the Mets that was in that group of spenders too. And I think the Giants have a lot of money to spend as well. I mean, the Cubs, if they so choose to open the books, can actually spend as much. It's unlimited for the Cubs as well. So there are a lot of franchises that to keep up with the Braves, you have to. It's an arms race at this point. It's the teams that don't spend are going to become worse and worse. They're going to become like 40-win teams at this point, the way this is going, because they're going to be signing a bunch of minor league deals, and all these big names are gone. So and teams are just going to boat race teams, which will be fun to watch, for like 5 fan bases.
I do wonder what the Dodgers, like you said, Zoe, obviously we've known about their talented farm system for years, but like they've gotten Mookie Betts, they got Freeman. What are the other big names? because like that's the thing. They've been losing some star players.
Right. They lost.
They
Trey Turner.
lost Seager.
Still,
They lost Turner
Trey
now.
Didn't they have DeGrom or no? Who do they have? Not
Scherzer.
No, they had Scherzer.
Scherzer.
Mhm.
But they keep
they're
growing.
re-signing Kershaw. He's old, but he's still good. Their pitching. That's the thing. Like I'll always trust their pitching because like just like Cleveland, they just seem to produce guys.
the back end of their bullpen was a little shaky last year.
That's
Though.
true. That's where you get
They have enough
Liam Hendricks, baby.
and Kimbrel back.
But I mean, they got 4 prospects in the top 100.
Well,
right
there you
now.
go.
They
Diego
got-
is number one.
Guys, the top 100, they don't always pan out. So I'll wait till I see it. I mean,
Diego
The
Cartaya.
White Sox once had 6 guys in the top 100.
Well, actually, all these top 5 prospects played in the majors this year at one point because you got the Cartaya guy,
yeah,
Bobby
he's-
Miller at AAA. These guys all are like under 23. My God.
Michael Vargas, Michael Bush.
Yep.
Like, they're gonna, they got some kids.
Your guy
coming up.
Pepio. Your Pepe.
They got another pitcher, Gavin Stone. I mean,
Oh my God, Gavin Stone.
Dude,
I'm just saying these are all top
That's
100
gonna be
prospects.
a guy.
it's a porn name.
Yeah.
He's got a little mustache too.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah,
He's gonna be a big name one day.
just saying.
Dalton
But
Rushing. That's a cool name too.
I feel like that might be one of the reasons why they've kind of been quieter on the spending this offseason. Is I think they're
You're loaded.
putting
you know,
and-
they're still. I mean, they have Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman, so they're
Yep.
still pretty
and Will Smith had a great year. Like
Will Smith.
yeah,
good.
they
Gavin
got
Lux. came into
they got
his own.
guys.
I love
Yeah, Chris
they,
Taylor.
dudes.
Yep.
They did it right, man. The Dodgers have been the standard of how a successful big market team should operate because they did it both upstairs and downstairs. And they've
Speaking of the Rangers, how good do you think they're going to be?
third in the division,
Because I still
Better.
don't. Yeah, I still.
They
don't-
they might get a wild card.
maybe second. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
They can get a wild card.
By the way, I was.
Bounce back
Just
though. The rest of
I-
the rotation, I mean, they're pretty top heavy in a lot of spots. I don't see a whole lot of depth. They'll be good, but I don't think.
I was a little skeptical when they extended the playoffs, being like, "Well, these teams are going to have like lower incentive because you can win less to get in the playoffs." But I do have to say, we have seen a few more teams spend more money. Like it might not end up good for like the Angels. The Angels have been spending some money too. Again, I don't know how good they're going to be, but they've been trying to do something, at least.
They have to though, because they got 2 of the best players in baseball.
Yeah.
They're not going to waste that. They just haven't done it smart.
They're going to be in
what do
fourth
we-
place.
Oh, Dan Hayes just reported, by the way, and tweeted by Ken Rosenthal. So here's something.
Oh no!
Dan
That's the
Hayes
Twins
says
guy.
the Twins, about the Twins, they're still swimming in deep waters for Carlos Correa, but after Aaron Judge signed, the Twins are up against a couple Sharks in the San Francisco Giants and the Padres. So this tells me that the Cubs are definitely the front runner because they're the ones not being mentioned right now. So book it, Cubs, Correa, gonna happen. Bam.
What do we think about the MLB draft lottery?
Rigged.
First one.
Rigged.
The ones that got
Vote.
screwed.
Do we like it or not?
I wrote this like entire article. Again, the Cubs only had like a 1.1% chance. I think the White Sox were like at 0.8 or something. And I was like, all right, like maybe they'll get like maybe they'll move to 6 or something. Bam, they fall down a spot. I was like, fuck this. Never do the MLB draft lottery ever again. They went from 12th to 13th. And then Sox fans have to be even more annoyed because the Twins got in 5th and the Tigers got 3rd, I think. I do think it's a cool idea though. I do like the draft lottery.
Yeah, it's
NBC
fun.
Sports Chicago just tweeted out Nelson Cruz on the White Sox. I would love to play for them.
Oh my
He heard. He's listening to the podcast. Are you in the chat?
Oh,
Are you in the
boy.
chat?
Anyone at this point? You know what it is? Because Chuck Garfien on that podcast, like he's always talking about how much Nelson Cruz kills the White Sox and how much he's wanted to have Nelson Cruz. He probably asked about that, and Nelson Cruz is like, "Of course, I'd want to play on the White Sox." He wants to play for anyone right now, so I'm not putting too much
I was
stock.
going to say he would
They have a
definitely.
team.
You can ask Nelson Cruz about any team in baseball. He's
Yeah.
yeah, I'd love to play for them.
I would love to play for the Pirates.
They have uniforms and everything. I'm in.
Oh wait. Okay, one thing on the White Sox, Mitch, you brought it up how if you guys do get Gallo, he's like at least the minimum. He's insurance for Colas, but like isn't Colas kind of slated in for right fielder? Right now? Wouldn't Gallo just be the left fielder?
Yep.
Or are they really thinking like they're going to be splitting time with Eloy in left?
No,
Eloy's still
they
gonna be
need
playing
two
sometime in
outfielders. They need a minimum of 2. And I still, even with Colas, I would still think you're looking at the roster and what they did last year and what other teams in the division are doing. You obviously have to improve. You need at least 2 outfielders. Like, you cannot bank on Colas, who's played 8 games in AAA, to be your opening day right field.
Well, that's going to be
and it's going to happen. He's going to be the right. Like, you listen to everything he said, he's probably going to be their opening day right field, and he might be good. He has some potential, but you can't trust a guy like that.
No,
like that's not what it doesn't inspire a whole lot of confidence.
All right, what do you guys think Correa gets? Like, what do you think his deal is going to be?
What was Turner's final number?
Turner was 11 years, 300 million. So I think that was like 27 million a year.
7 for 250.
I think he'll get like 29 a year.
This is for
Correa.
I mean, what did I have him signing for? I got to stick to my guns. I was much more clear-headed when we made our little chart. I got him at $4. No, just kidding. Where'd you go, Dick? I just want to look. It really does. I feel like I gained some ground. I had him at 8 years, 245.
I mean, I think he's going to get close to 300 million now.
Yeah.
With this market?
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, I think he's going to get, I think he might get that now. I didn't think so, because I think my prediction was, 7 for 256?
He's the youngest
or 8 for
shortstop,
256?
It wouldn't really surprise me if he got 10 years, 300.
That guy's going to age well.
I mean, the Louis Vuitton of defense only comes around once every so often, so got to pony up. Gucci's expensive.
He's going to age well. He's of those free agents, shortstops. He's the guy that I can see playing short or whatever, or third for a couple years, moving over to first for a couple seasons, and DHing for the final few years. He reminds me of what's his name in Detroit, Miggy. He's that kind of guy. He's a smart bat. He's the one contract that I feel zero fear giving him a 10-year deal, even now at his age. I'm okay with it.
He's only 28.
Yeah, he is only 28.
He's the youngest one of all the shortstops. Like he's the guy you pay and you give years to. You lock him up, and guess what? Better yet, he's a hitting savant, and he makes the players around him better hitters because of the insight that he's able to give them when they're hitting in the tunnel. That's all. You're paying another coach too. Give him a couple extra million a year just for him being a good dugout coach. I'm good with that. He's the guy that you pay and you give years to, and you don't hold back. I don't
seem like the Cubs. I mean, cheating or not, he's got a ring.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need battle-tested guys when you're going through the postseason. So
he's got a ring. He was clutch even after all the cheating stuff came out.
There's nothing
clutch. That guy's just everything you want. Star power. I think it was last year. Somebody was like, "Well, is Carlos Correa actually a star?" I get it. He's not like Aaron Judge, but he's still a star.
He is. And put him in the National League, put him at Wrigley Field, and watch him thrive, especially in that ballpark. It really pains me. It's the Giants. You got the Giants, you got the Padres, and you got the.
I do have to say,
which is the biggest market team of the three, and who's going to spend the most?
Well, here's the thing.
He wants to play for a winner too. I feel like,
and that's why I think this is shout out to full count Tommy on Twitter. Follow him, Cubs guy. He was tweeting out on Wednesday how all the leaks that we saw, Kevin, from your boy Dave Kaplan and then Russell Dorsey on Bally Sports the next day, confirming that ownership has told the front office, "Hey, spend as much as you need to make the Cubs competitive again." Maybe those leaks wasn't really so much for Bogarts or the concept of getting 2 shortstops, but it was more towards Carlos Correa being like, "Hey, we're going to be spending. We want you here. Don't worry. We're going to get you more guys." I like that theory. Obviously, this is the optimistic side of me wanting Carlos Correa, so I'm biased there, but kind of makes sense.
Yeah, and it's with the Bellinger move and the Taillon move at a bare minimum, it shows, hey, we are trying to move in the right direction. We're making moves. We're trying to get better.
And that's the other thing. Like, I know we've been making fun of the Cubs and like some of their signings that they made, like in other seasons. And yes, like with the Bellinger thing, it's nothing crazy. It's a 1-year deal. If it doesn't work, he's gone. But a cheap team doesn't spend $17 million on a gamble. The Cubs could have been like if the Cubs would have signed Kevin Kiermaier for a 1-year, like $8 million deal, I would have been like, fuck you guys. Like, what is this? That is being just not, that's being done. That is truly being cheap. So maybe I'm, to have the rosy colored sunglasses on right now, whatever it is, but I think at the very least, I do think it's going to be Swanson. Still hoping for Correa.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think we've been prepared enough. We've seen it through the media. It's been look. I'm going to say this. I've seen a lot of Cub fans who were like completely out on Swanson 2 weeks ago are now like, it's a great move because they've been hearing nothing but it. The media has been softening everything up for a good week now at this point, making it more palatable. Again, he's a good supplementary move, but he shouldn't be the move. If he's the best move of your offseason, it's not a great offseason. It's a good offseason. That a good way to put it? Like that's the way I look at it. I think that he's a good player, but he's not fixing the problems that the Cubs actually have. He's just improving the defense.
That's the thing. I think they'll still get another guy though. Like if it's Drury, a JD Martinez, an Aguilar,
Can't have Drury.
A Cruz. No, we're gonna get Drury.
No,
I'm so in on Drury now at this point.
Can't have Drury. I really don't.
A Mancini. Like they have to get. That's the thing. They need a right-handed guy for third base or first base.
Mm-hmm. They do,
because you can't go into the season being like, yes, Matt Mervis, you had one great year in the minors.
It's not fair.
You have to be good in the major leagues. Like you can't be counting on that.
That's unfair to Matt Mervis. That's and you don't want a guy like Patrick Wisdom. If you're parading Patrick Wisdom out for 100 and some odd games, you're not a contender. I'm sorry. That guy is a great bench guy. He'd be perfect on the bench, but if he's your starting third baseman, you have problems. What did he hit? Like 116 in September and August or whatever this year? Like, I don't know. It's really bad. But
like Patrick Wisdom is going to be like perfect in
Against lefties.
Like perfect in like he's going to be getting some starts at third, and then when he's not playing, it's Morel at third, or whoever's at first base. He's not going to be playing there, so put in him at first base. He can DH. So yeah,
and you're right. Kevin. He really does hit lefties well. Like that is what he does well. He blasts lefties. So having him as a lefty only guy with an occasional right-handed start, I don't have problems with that. I just have problems with him being the starting, like the dude at a spot. He shouldn't be the dude.
Yeah, but
responding to Wayne in the chat, I'm keeping Jake Berger, friend of the show. Jake Berger. I like those tweets. But I would take Jake Berger over. I would make that trade.
The White Sox going to sign Puig?
No.
Yeah.
Wasn't he going to jail or something? What happened to that?
Yeah, I don't know. He's got a new agent too, and she's hot. Sorry.
Who's going to jail?
Agency.
Wasn't Puig going to jail?
The White Sox already have locker room and culture issues. Like you heard it in the Jose Abreu press conference. The fact is, like, I wanted to be in a place that that has more of like a family atmosphere. After he said the last time he was up for a free agency, he was like, I'm going to sign myself for the White Sox. I want to sign. Tells you all you need to know about the White Sox clubhouse. Like that was terrible. And we're going to bring Yasiel Puig in?
No, you don't want to do that.
That'd be a disaster.
Totally being.
That is just pouring gasoline on the fire because the clubhouse is already bad.
It's horrible. Terrible teammate.
Random thought. Is Trevor Bauer eligible to come back to Major League Baseball this year?
I don't think so.
I wouldn't say he's been missing work, Bob. Let's check the Google machine.
I mean, I think the last thing I saw in Bauer was some of his lawsuits got thrown out. It still doesn't look good for him.
No, I know. It's just a random question, but like.
Well, he's suspended for 324 games. So
that's right.
He's not eligible to return until the 19th game of the 2024 season.
Holy shit.
I guess that answers the question.
That's brutal. If you're the Dodgers, you had that rotation you thought was going to be so good. Then you spend money on gets suspended for 300 games.
Holy, I forgot it was that long of suspension. That's right. Because he kept getting like the indefinite ones, like they would extend it like a couple weeks at a time. Then that's right.
Oh, I'm
And
not
then they-
like an
they
advocate
drop the
for him or
nuke.
anything. I literally just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
The
And
White
to-
Sox wanted him too. There was like a bunch like, hey, like White Sox should get Trevor Bauer. Come on.
and
Mock.
Tatis can start opening day, right?
I think he's still. I think the suspension still carries over a few games. I think.
Let's see, Tatis suspension. Oh, not the suspension on his motorcycle that he crashed and hurt himself. It's an 80-game suspension. So, what is he eligible? This says return date for 2023 would be eligible April 20th.
Yeah, so he's gonna be missing like 3 weeks?
Yeah, about a little bit less than 3 weeks.
Man, I'm telling you though, if the Padres land Correa and move Tatis to the outfield, whew, sheesh.
Sheesh.
That'd be pretty damn good.
I hope I'm wrong, fellas. For your sake, you two know I'll always root for you, but I just don't see Correa signing with the Cubs.
No, the biggest fuck up, and like I had it in my predictions. I thought Judge was going to return to the Yankees, and then the Giants were immediately just going to go to Correa. Like I think that's the most likely scenario, unless the Padres.
I think the Padres have a very bruised ego right now because they're getting all this pub for offering players
Do
a
you-
shit ton of money and them going somewhere else.
I mean, the Cubs have to be in Correa's ear and be. They just have to be pointing out all the tax stuff to him.
Oh yeah,
They
no,
just need to drive that point.
without a doubt. It's just for me, I think as much of a money guy, I think money's going to be equal from the offers across the board. I just someone needs to paint me a clear picture of how the Cubs sell him as a more of a win now team than the Padres.
Well,
they can do it over the Giants. That's for sure.
You know what you do though. I think the Giants can have a better stuff with this part. The Cubs can sell Carlos Correa. You are going to be the guy for the Cubs. You are the star. The Padres have Machado. They have Tatis. They have Soto. Drive that ego with them. Be
Yeah,
like, hey, this is going to be your team. You're
In a
going to be a
major
star
city,
in
yeah.
Chicago.
in a major city.
Yep. So I think that's another part where, like, I mean, we just saw with Aaron Judge. Like, yeah, you can go to San Francisco. San Francisco is in New York. It's different being a Yankee than being a Giant. I know the Giants have history, but not comparing the Cubs
That's
to the
the
Yankees, but at least brand wise, the
Yeah.
Padres. What have the Padres ever done?
I'm sorry, but I don't see
So
it.
come on,
You're
Come
wearing
on,
that
Zo.
Giants hat trying to
I'm
will it
trying to
into
build a
existence.
picture here.
Look,
Yeah,
it may
I don't
end
see
up-
it.
it could end up Minnesota, and then you're really pissed because
Oh, it-
Not really, because that's what it was last year, and they sucked.
that's true.
that's true.
Let them spend all their money on Carlos Correa.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the thing, like, what
It's
are,
fine
where are
by
the
me.
Twins at? Because like they have
Clip that.
Arise,
He said
they
it's fine.
have
Joe said fine by me.
like
Correct.
they're kind of like a middle team too. Who like what direction are they going? They have Buxton. Their pitching is
Buxton is
okay.
going to go down as one of the most could have been players of all time, and I hate. It sucks. Like, okay, I know he plays for one of our biggest rivals, but he is so good,
Yeah.
and
He
it's
can
just
only stay healthy. Yeah, he'd be one of the
every year, man.
Is he
Every
like?
year.
Is he? I mean, it's kind of shaping up like, oh, who is the guy from Cleveland, like in the 2000s? Sizemore.
Grady Sizemore?
Wasn't he another guy who was really good? Like I don't
I
think
don't even
as
think Grady Sizemore got as hurt as much as Buxton gets hurt. Like
every year.
severe injury every year.
Yeah.
it's always when like he was raking this year before it went down.
I guess we'll see how it all plays out. But of course, if the Cubs were to get a Correa or even like a Dansby Swanson, I don't think Joey Gallo is going to warrant it. But if something big like that does happen, we'll jump on when we can. But
On the Cubs side, Elvis Andrews.
yeah, I think it's time, Mitch.
All right.
You warm up those beautiful pipes there, buddy. I'm gonna play my music. Where we go? Here we go.
Oh, look at that. Look at the camera. Wait.
Alrighty. Since it is free agency in baseball and it's all about spending money, we're going to do a little game. The White Sox, if you watch a White Sox broadcast, Chris Kamka always puts together the swap meet. So it's going to be a little combination between the two. I have made a chart with a bunch of blind resumes. You will have $13 to spend. They're categorized $5 drivers, $4 drivers, 3, 2, 1. You're going to build your own cup team based off of these blind resumes because I know you don't know any of the drivers anyway. And then afterwards, I will determine who won by the driver you picked, how many points they had this regular season. So like regular free agency, you can spend a lot of money on a player. Doesn't mean they're going to pan out. So we'll see how it goes. You could get a steal. Some guy could overperform like a Johnny Cueto. You could get a bust. But we have I think Aldo has it. We'll pull up the blind resumes. You will make your team. The rules are you got $13 to spend. The max amount of drivers you can get is 4. You can go with 2, I guess. 3 probably the ideal number, but for K-Fids Motorsports, Team Zoe, and Aldo Racing,
Hell yeah.
build your cup team. We'll see who had the most points based off this year's performance, and we'll go from there. So, Aldo, you have the graphic, and for the listeners, this is why you should be tuning in. You can see it. I'll read off all of them for you as you guys decide what you want, and then I have the answer key afterwards, so you can see who you got in the swap meet.
So you want the color coded one up, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, there we go.
All right. So for the $5 drivers, we got driver A, and you get $13 to spend. So these are the $5 drivers. Driver A has 1 championship, 35 wins, 233 top 10s in his career. Driver B, 2 championships, 31 wins, 257 top 10s in his career. Driver C, 2 championships, 60 wins, 355 top 10s. So now we'll go to the $4 drivers. Driver D, 0 championships, 48 wins, 312 top 10s. Driver E, 1 championship, 19 wins, 146 top 10s. Driver F, 1 championship, 31 wins, 261 top 10s. Driver G, 0 championships, 7 wins, 113 top 10s. Driver H, 1 championship, 18 wins, 137 top 10s. Driver I, 0 championships, 4 wins, 58 top 10s. On to the $2 drivers. 2 and 1. This is where the White Sox spending range would probably be if Rick Hahn was a cup owner. Driver J, 0 championships, 3 wins, 41 top 10s. Driver K, 0 wins, or 0 championships, 7 wins, 69 top 10s. Nice. Driver L, 0 championships, 4 wins, 43 top 10s. And from the bottom of the cellar, 0 championships, 1 win, 49 top 10s. Driver N, 0 championships, 2 wins, 30 top 10s. And driver O, 0 championships, 1 win, 29 top 10. So they will pick out of 13, get $13 to spend once again.
Can we each pick the same guy?
Pick the same guy. So come up once you all have your guys in mind. We'll just go around. You can tell me who you got.
Rotisserie. It's a rotisserie.
Yeah, exactly. But you can have the same guy in theory.
I'm back.
All
right. So I got $13 to spend.
$13, and then you said up to 4 drivers?
4 is the max you can have.
All right.
Can you have 3 drivers?
You can get up to 3.
Is there a minimum driver? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, with $13, you probably want 3 as the minimum. Most cup teams will have like 2 to 3 guys, but you can have up to 4. This is the maximum.
All right, I have my 4.
The idea is to maximize your points. So whichever team has the most points based off of this year's standings will win.
$13?
$13.
I have my 4.
All right. Although, which 4 are you going with?
I'm going to go driver C.
Driver C. Oh, I'm going to write this. All right. Aldo, he's got driver C.
C.
Driver C. For those listening, he's got 2 championships, 60 wins, 355 top 10s.
Driver D.
The fuck?
Driver D. He's got 0 championships, 48 wins, 312 top 10s. And so you got that's $9 you've spent.
And then driver K, or driver L and K.
What the driver L and K? Okay.
Are you serious?
L and K.
Like,
intelligent spending, Kevin.
Those listening, 0 championships, 4 wins, 43 top 10s in his career. Driver K, 0 championships, 7 wins, 69 top 10s in his career. Fids, you got yours right? Is anyone else ready with it?
Mine's ready. I'm going to change one now because Aldo and I had the exact fucking same one. So
All right, Fids,
Oh,
let's
man.
see what you got.
I went KDCL because I took K because it's 69.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, nice.
Tens, I mean,
So you're going K. 69 wins,
69 your top
4
10.
wins, 69 top 10, or 7
Yeah.
wins, 69 top 10, 0 championships.
you want a 69 your top 10. So I think I'll just go with driver J instead of L. I'll flip to the other side of that chart because I'll let Aldo and
3 wins, 41 top 10s for driver J.
Let's switch it over. Yeah, we'll just do that. So we'll go D, K, C, and J for a total of 13.
And then D and K. Driver D, once again, 48 wins, 312 top 10s. And driver K, wait, no. So you had K, J, D, and what was the other one?
D, K, C, and J.
C, okay.
C,
Driver C.
2
championships, 60 wins, 355 top 10s. All right, Zoe, who you got?
C, D, H, M.
Ooh,
Everyone's going with, okay. And then H. And
I mean,
then
you got a guy with 60 wins. How do you not take a guy with 60
Adam
wins?
has 1 win, 49 top 10s, no championships. He's the only one that won the $1 driver. And then H, another new one, 1 championship, 18 wins, 137 top 10s. So going with the bargain bit. So everyone's got their 4. All right. Aldo, do you have the other one? We have the answer key for who all the drivers were, how many points they had this regular season. We will tally it up, and we'll see who won the swap meet here.
Well, I could have just cheated and looked at this other picture.
All right, so these are the drivers. These are how many points they had. So driver A was Brad Keselowski. So everyone went with Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch is driver C, Hall of Fame driver. Overall, for number 1 driver, not as many points as some of the other ones. He had 2,224 points for the regular season there. So everyone had him. Driver D, everyone had him as well. Denny Hamlin, solid year, 2,379. So really, it's going to come down to the last 2. So although you had driver K, which was Alex Bowman, he had 2,107 points. Fidji had him as well. And then Zoe, you had H. So you had Chase Elliott, who finished second in the standings with driver H. So you have the lead
I picked
there.
the wrong $1 one though.
And then
I
you
switched
had
to L.
driver. Yeah, there's one. Yeah, Daniel Suarez as driver M. That's my favorite driver. He finished number 10 in the standings, but yeah, Ross Chastain would have been the good one to get there. So you two had.
You're telling me I should have kept the L and not switching it just because Aldo had the same
Yeah,
exact.
although it had kind of a steal. So I got to add up.
Tell me I was right. It's my first instinct, but to make
Although
it
you had 2, 4,
Yeah, who's Bell?
Christopher Bell. He was in the final 4 of the standings. He was like the lowest driver on Joe Gibbs Racing, and he had a career year, finished 4th in the standings. So you had, all right, you had C, and then plus 2, 3, 7, 9. Oops.
disappointed.
Sorry.
by that.
4 plus 2, 3, 7, 9. And then you had K, 2107. And then you had L, 5027. So, although you had 11,737 points. So remember that number.
11,737.
11, 737. All right. Fids, you had.
Now I had the same score as Aldo if we kept my original picks, but as I switched to the J to make it fun. I want to make sure the record shows that I'm a NASCAR whiz. I was just
This is true. Yeah.
making it competitive. I mean, you saw last week how wise I
You
am on
had
NASCAR isms.
9, and then you
I
had
just
C.
I picked the wrong $1 one. Fuck.
Fids, you had 8,925. So you were behind Aldo there. All right, Zoe, I think you might have had it here.
I think Zoe did win it with Ham on, or no, with
Elliot.
Elliot. Yeah.
Elliot.
Elliot. Elliot.
And then plus Zoe had 11,884. Zoe
By 100 points.
winner. Zoe Motorsports. Congratulations. You have won NASCAR free agency. Yeah, I mean, some of the bottom bit of the guys, Ross Chastain was the sneaky one I had in there. None of you guys fell for the bait with Brad Keselowski is going to be a future Hall of Famer. He sucked this year, but he was 629 in the 80s. He had to go.
Everybody knows.
That was my
Everybody
ex-girlfriend's
knows
favorite driver.
this is a NASCAR big brain right here.
There you
Everybody
go.
knows it's a NASCAR big brain.
Got to fit in that big old head.
Yep.
This is why you're Rick Hahn's advisor. You know, you're looking at the numbers.
We
Doesn't know
actually-
anything about NASCAR.
We
Had the
actually got
winning.
a call coming up. We got a
It's
call
not just a
coming
hat
up.
rack.
Yep.
Well, you know why? It's because you had Daniel Suarez on your team in the '99 car. So
Yep.
and that's probably
So Chuck Garfine tweets out the quote from Nelson Cruz, and of course everyone reacts, and there's like a million Encarnacion gifts going on and all this other shit. But like,
French. He went French.
and then Chuck quote tweets someone like, "Oh, I wish they would have read the article." I just looked at the article. He's getting the reaction he wanted by tweeting out that quote from that article. Like, sorry, man. That's just another thing for another time. But
I knew he was the one behind it. When you said that, I knew he was the one behind it.
yeah, I mean that's
He's been tooting that horn on that podcast for years.
he's
I like
getting well, he's getting the clicks he wants. Is
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Like he's getting the reaction he wants because people are like, I mean, it's not a good reaction, but he's getting reactions and it's getting retweeted and all that shit. So
Thoughts on Pedro Grifol liking fish tacos?
I like fish tacos. What's wrong with fish taco?
a dude from
I like turtles.
South Florida liking fish tacos.
Oh, no, I'm not saying bad. Your
They're
thoughts?
delicious. I mean, I like all tacos, but fish tacos are good.
No, he's
You got it,
he's been coached.
I don't know
up
why I
pretty good.
saw that tweeted out. I just randomly saw that tweeted.
Well, it
a
was
few days ago.
Ken tweeted out because he was on MLB International or whatever, and they were
Oh.
talking to him, and he said literally nothing of substance except for like, I like fish tacos. Baseball is fun.
Alright.
Like I said, he was coached up. He's a good soldier, put it that way.
Lucas Giolito's cleaning up trash on the beach, so he's gonna have a bad year according
How
to
long are these
Terrible
Project
person.
Hold on. How long are these Project Birmingham episodes?
probably like 20 minutes each. I'm guessing half hour, 20 minutes. Can't be that long. They can't have, there's not that many guys to talk about down there worthwhile.
It's a series though. Like, I'm looking it up right now because I'm trying to decide if I want to do something with
There'll
this.
be an episode on Montgomery, an episode on Colas, and an episode on Bear. It's my
Oh.
guess.
Did TA's
here you go.
documentary on YouTube include the baby mama drama?
No.
I don't
I'd
watch
watch
that.
that.
Project Birmingham episode 1. Okay, here we go. Episode is 6 minutes and 39 seconds long. So, I'm wondering if I should do a live watch.
How long is it?
6
6
minutes.
minutes?
Let's put it out. We'll do a live reaction.
Yeah, do it. So.
Can I share my screen? Will the sound come through, I guess, is what I'm asking?
I think you can. It gives you an option to share sound.
Let's go here. Our Chrome
Look at
tab.
this. Bonus content. This is why you tune into this every Wednesday.
All right. Sorry for those listening, but this is happening now. What do I gotta? All right, it's playing. Can you guys hear it?
Before it's a little bit outside the box.
Yes.
I'd
Yep.
never heard of anything like it before. This is the first of its kind. But when we first got told about it and everything, and then we came here, we were kind of just like, this is different.
Damn, Colson looks like a little kid. It's a nice ballpark.
It is a nice ballpark.
I really want to take a
Project
field trip.
Birmingham was something that I
Charlotte's worth your time too.
for a couple months. You know, there were so many pieces that I enjoyed,
Sox legend.
whether it be an instructional league in the past, the alternate site setting, and kind of diving deep on why I felt like those programs have been successful in the past was mainly because we felt like we had the top players
there's
in
Vaughn.
the organization together, feeding off of each other with our top instructors. Everyone seemed very excited about it.
Who's starting us off? Dude, go baby. All right, come on. Shake yourself, dude. Straddle the line. We're going that H first. Go. I just thought it was a no-lose proposition. I think every championship
I was gonna say, who
organization
is
at
this
some
guy?
point has had a
So,
core group of
all right.
players that kind of hitch up together at the same
How
level
wasn't this guy man?
and get to the big leagues at the same time. To continue to challenge the player in some cases it humbles the young player who maybe had a really good year in Kannapolis and let them know that they got to stay
Not a
hungry.
great
There's still a lot of
clip
work
of
to
Colson
do
there.
before they become the finished product.
And that was a huge piece of this was, are we able to motivate these players even further?
The 2-2 to Montgomery. Line drive and a base hit into center field.
Yeah.
Montgomery puts the first hit of the night on the board for the Dash.
I was in Hickory with Winston-Salem, and there was just a whole bunch of whispering
He
going
looks
on that a lot of
15.
stuff was
Did
going to
they
happen.
spell his name right?
Came in after the game, and then he told us all we were going to Birmingham. There's a whole bunch of other prospects that were coming too, so we were all kind of a little confused on how it all was going to work. But then, as in the couple days passed, everybody took each other in with open arms. Realized we're all here for the same goal. We want to get to the big leagues, and we might as well do it being happy with each other.
Tienen que enfocarse, él un dirigente con buena vibra, como decía.
So when everybody walked into the clubhouse in late August and we formed a new team, you could just see guys excited about being here.
I didn't realize how short Colas
It's a
is.
collection of our future, right? Our guys that we believe highly in to help us and be impact players in Chicago
How old is
someday,
this guy?
going through the daily grind of professional baseball, at somewhat of a higher level here in the minor leagues in AA.
We had Oscar Colas that was already there.
Oscar is a dynamic talent.
He gets everybody on the edge of their seat.
Pretty
With
right
Colson
fielder.
Montgomery,
Things just naturally seem to come easier for him than a lot of guys.
Brian Ramos.
And this is a kid that's so committed that he spent all offseason in Arizona last year, and it's shown
Starting
on the
second
field.
baseman.
Jorge Vera.
It could
He
be.
never seems to get phased by anything that's going on. That's a testament to who he is and how
Supposedly
much
this
he's
kid's
grown
got
this
good
last year.
too.
Yeah,
West Cap.
for good
He
things.
By the
knows
Sox,
at a
yeah.
young age how to deal with what this game throws at him.
Wilfred Perez, Adam Hackenberg, Matt Thompson, Jared Kelly, Moises Castillo was part of that group.
Jared
Yoaquin
Kelly.
Cespedes. DJ
Wow.
Gladney was another guy that came from Kannapolis. Let's get these players
That's
around each
what
other
it-
and push each other
They
on
said
their
Cespedes.
daily work. Iron sharpens iron.
There it is. I was waiting how long it was going to be before they said iron sharpens iron. I was waiting.
We're gonna win the championship in AA next year.
So a day like today, the guys are usually here around 12:30. They get in the weight room. At 2 o'clock, we come out here. We've got groups set up for early work defensively, specified by corner
It's a
infielders,
long
middle
6
infielders,
minutes.
outfielders, catchers.
Yeah, I think we're done.
Oh, come on, Zoe. We're hyping up for the Southern League AA championship.
Right. I was just more wanting to see what the first part was, but I still think it's not a coincidence that they released that during the winter meetings.
Quick reaction. Quick thoughts, Zoe, Mitch?
Hopefully,
We're gonna win the AA championship. Although they called up Colas, so he's gonna start the year in the MLB next year. So that's gonna really hurt their championship chances now.
Yeah. I mean, if you get one of those guys to pop, you're doing good.
I
So,
hope
Yeah.
they're bad at player development. You look at all these other clubs; all these guys are coming out of nowhere. The White Sox have had all these prospects, and look how many have been bust. And I get it happens, but there's a lot. Their success rate is not very good. I don't know what the hell's going on now.
Speaking to that point, Mitch, I know, Kevin, you talked about the bad drafting that the Cubs have made, kind of the underwhelming results.
No.
No.
Herb is walking back his Joey.
Oh,
Gallo.
no. What did I tell you, Zoe? What did I tell you, Zoe?
Herb
If I was closer to Herb, I would have DM'd him on the side or something, be like, Herb, don't do this.
Herb just tweeted out, I didn't mean to stir things up, y'all, and definitely don't want to make it like I'm 100% that Joey Gallo is signing with the White Sox. That's my fault. I should be more careful with my words. I trust my guy, but I'm not a trained journalist to vet this out like they would.
Damn.
All I can think of is we're going to post that video of Herbie, and we love Herbie. We love him. So
Yeah.
I want to be the first one to post it, just to tell
Oh,
him.
when he fell. Oh,
It
no,
happens.
don't do that to our
It
guy.
happens.
Come on.
It happens. Like he's
Yeah,
fine.
I
Herbie's the
wouldn't
best.
really
Like he's
do
seriously
that.
the best. And you know what? He's a stand-up
No,
dude
no,
for getting up there and saying something.
No, he would take that. He'd laugh at it. He'd laugh.
He would. I don't mean it. He knows I'm not meaning it. He'll tell. He's a stand-up dude for going out there and saying, "Look, guys, here's look. I wear this. Like that's half of these dudes don't even remotely touch that. I kind of respected Heyman.
He's not hiding behind a food account throwing this stuff up.
He's not. He put his name on it, and and he had to walk it back. And he said I had to walk it back. Like some guys will just ignore it, maybe delete the tweet, move on. Like
it could still happen,
right? But he's just a stand-up dude.
Rick Hahn was like, hey, Herb,
what the hell? Are you exposing the
that?
plant?
He's like, hey, I was just trying to have a fun night in San Diego. I got Joey Gallo's agent calling me up.
Herb, the projections that you're gonna get him for.
I'm gonna leave Herb alone.
Now his market value's up, and we're gonna have to pay 10.
I'm gonna leave Herb alone. Hopefully it does happen, but shit, Herb.
Happens to the best of us.
It happens to the best.
I got duped by. I mean, not that Herb got duped, but I'm just saying. Like today, I literally fell for a fake Xander Bogaerts Twitter.
Yep, gotta remind everybody. Everyone can pay for a check mark now. You gotta actually click the account now and look at follower count and create a date and all that stuff.
These guys are getting good though. I mean, I think it was Kevin. You shared the parody of the food account.
Yeah, a parody of a parody account.
The hot dog parody account was hilarious.
That was so good.
I bought it too.
Now there's one called like MLB Scoops, and they have a picture of ice cream cone.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, that account was created July 2022.
Oh, this is what I was going to bring up with Mitch saying, the White Sox poor record of player development. The Cubs signed or they selected Nick Birdie. He used to be with the Pirates.
Yeah, Birdie was a stud before he had all the arm problems.
Well, and then his brother Zach Birdie was with the White Sox. And then I was looking him up because I was like, oh yeah, they're brothers. Zach Birdie was a first-round pick by the White Sox in 2016.
We all thought he'd be closer.
Yep, he got called up. I think he had like a couple of good relief outings, but struggled. Went back to the minors. I think he elected free agency back in November.
Fun fact: his dad was in the same fantasy football league as I was.
Oh,
years
okay.
back. He's friends with my uncle, his dad. We were in the same. Yeah, we were in the same fantasy football league, and I beat him.
Hell yeah! Take that. They went to Downers Grove.
Yeah,
high school.
Yep. Local boy. I was excited when they drafted him. I thought he was going to be the future closer. Like he was great at Louisville, and then his brother was solid too before he had all the arm problems.
Yep.
All right, good. Most people are being cool to Herb with the comments. I'm gonna cut him some slack here. Hopefully, it still happens, but
no, it's way different when you do that, when you put your name behind it, instead of going like an anonymous account, being like, hey guys, I'm hearing this, blah 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 blah. Like when he has a show and he's like, I'm hearing this. It's not like he's, hiding his voice.
Hey, hearing this doesn't mean the guy is gonna sign. Like how many times have we heard from like actual inside? Like
yeah. I think if he could do it again, he wouldn't say that it's gonna be announced later this week.
That would probably.
That's the tough part.
Yeah, that's the where he kind of overstepped. But hopefully it still happens. I really hope.
Well,
it does.
watch it might still happen. That was like, going back to NASCAR. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leaked the news that Kyle Busch was going to sign with Richard Childress Racing. And then Kyle Busch called him and was like, what the hell? Because he posted some memes on Twitter and everyone figured it out. So then he had to fire off 3 more tweets to try and throw people off. Like, oh, I didn't actually mean that. But in reality, it was just because Kyle Busch was all pissed off. So it could be the same thing. Maybe Rick Hahn called him up and was like, yo, you're blowing our cover. So he's trying to walk back.
I think it is the same thing. And I think that's a great spot to end it at, Mitch.
That's how you know you're at the 2-hour mark.
So for Mitch Fids, that's Aldo Amzo. Again, if something big pops off, we'll jump on some kind of social media to get out to you guys. But until then, stay frosty, and we'll talk to you next week.